Hello, everybody. Welcome to Low Ink June 2025. My name is Nell, and I am joined here with the lovely Broken Pinky.
Hello, yes, thank you, Nell, for that wonderful intro. We are back with more low ink action here on the IPL Twitch stream. We got a great round of match here for the first round of Swiss. We have Purple Blob versus White Prawns Meetup.
I am very excited to kick off the day with you, Pinky. But yeah, like you said before, we're going to be seeing Purple Blob versus White Prawns Meetup, and it is going to be play all three. So you are in for a lot of matches today. So get seated, get a drink, get a snack. You are going to be experiencing a big day full of Splatoon.
Yeah, I mean, as are all these players. We have 6 sets total, all of which play all three, and that doesn't sound like a lot. 18 games. That's just an afternoon sesh, but no, this is a whole. I mean, this is competitive Splatoon gameplay. It is tiring. It is taxing. So it's really going to test a lot of these players, especially for low ink. It's kind of daunting at this level. So I'm curious to see sort of who's going to rise above that.
For sure. I mean, at the end of the day, low ink is kind of just a test of stamina. Of course, it is a test of your skill, especially in low level. But I mean, at the end of the day, it really depends on who can keep their mental up and who can keep their spirits up as the day kind of goes on and on, especially in that very warm, sleepy summer afternoons. So yeah, we are going to be doing day one, but we'll see who can make it to day two.
Yeah, we got 2 pools worth of people. Top 8 from each pool is going to be in the alpha bracket. Next 8 going to be in beta, and the next 8 are going to be in gamma. So not a lot of spots to fight for, but they're going to fight for them nonetheless. We have this first set underway with game 1 being on Zone's Hagglish Market, which is just like it's just the Splatoon 3 map, I feel like, at this point.
I feel like every time I cast and I see Zone Taggle, I'm like, yep, that's the classic map. It's just kind of the bread and butter map that everybody kind of likes to play and knows how to play. It's a linear map, but it isn't too linear to the point where you get kind of boxed off. It's pretty even playing ground. So I'm sure that both of the teams here are going to feel quite comfortable with this map being the first one that we're starting off at.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, that kind of goes with the whole set. I mean, Zones Haggle, Tower Inkblot, Rainmaker Undertow, that's kind of like the one of the titular maps on all those modes, just like since the beginning of this game. So yeah, but here's all of our sets for Group A. You can just see how many sets there are. I think the total team count for this tourney is at 91. So a lot of players really coming out now that we're in the summertime. You don't have to worry about school or anything like that.
Oh, for sure. And I definitely think that the update definitely kicked some people into high gear about getting into teams and trying out new weapons and you just kind of reinvigorating the spirit of the game that we kind of were missing a little bit. So, I
Whoa,
mean, this is going to be a really fun low ink, especially considering that we are past that. What it was, it's 9.0. What is the update number?
I think we're at 10.0 right now. And also, I think I see C
10.0.
Drive there, which... Yeah, we're at 10.0. I think I see C Drive there, which is a name I have not seen in a long time. I don't know if it's the same players that, formed the team back towards the beginning of this game, but, even still, it's cool to see that sort of blast from the past come back.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm seeing teams that I haven't seen the names of in so long, and it's so good to see them back here to play low ink. I mean, it's so great. And we also are always seeing pickups for just a ragtag bunch of folks that want to play if they're able to. So, it's like you said, there's 90 teams. It's a huge tournament. And we are taking a look at Group B. And we are seeing, like I said before, we're seeing people that have been playing low ink frequently and people that haven't been playing it as much. Like I see Kittens and I see Singularity and Plurality and, people that we've seen here and there.
Yeah, it's just a big event for pretty much the whole Splatoon community, and we get to see it once a month, so welcome to June's installment. Happy Pride Month. Yeah.
This is the Pride version of low ink.
The Pride version of low ink brought to you by a trans girl and a lesbian. Let's get it done.
Yay! And then we all start clapping and jovially holding hands and jumping around.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm just excited to see all these new weapons. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff coming around. Like the Rattler mini Splatling, the Frozen Pro, the Winter Rapid, the Claws 96, the Horns Dreadringer, just so many cool new weapons that I think everyone's just been having a blast playing around with, so I would love to see any of those pop up.
I love that you've been using their legal names, and I just call them the new one, the new mini, the
I
new
tried.
rapid.
I've been studying my flashcards. I got I got my Quizlets ready.
She's a much better, more studied commentator than I am. I'm just here for the vibes. No, but seriously, I mean, it gives me an opportunity to learn new specials too with these new weapons, especially I think it's called the Rattler mini splatling. I'm like, okay, I'm good at mini splatling, and then I play Zuka, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really hard.
They call it the Rattler mini splatting because you'll be rattled by how many Zukas are flying at your face.
You know, that's really, really good banter, Pinky. Good job.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Actually, you're gonna be here for this block.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some. Sometimes you just get dragged off the block, and you know what? That's how it be.
I need to get like a comical cane to pull you off stage.
No!
By the waist. I'm just like, we gotta get her out of here.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it looks
Someone's
like
gotta get this guy.
someone's gotta get this guy out of here. But yeah, it looks like the players are going to be deliberating their weapons, so we won't have to wait much longer on the first map mode. But like you said, I really hope that we're going to be seeing some new stuff, and hopefully people can flex their comp building muscles a little bit, and maybe we can see something that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I just love to see what these people got cooking, you know, especially we're just fresh off a new update. So pretty much anything can happen. All cards are at play pretty much. So I'm just excited to see what is going to be happening here. Again, we have our 3 map modes: Zones on Haggle, Towered on Inkblot, and Rainmaker on Undertow. And of course, this is a play all 3 set. So we're going to be seeing all of those beautiful map modes on our screen pretty shortly. But I think we're almost in game 1. There might be some things going on, but yeah. Oh, I think we are having some technical difficulties.
No, you're good. I'm hearing a note from God that we are going to be getting into the game soon.
Yeah, God is implying that there might have been some challenges in the team selecting screen, but you know what?
I mean, hey, it's the beginning of the match. It's the beginning of the tournament. There's bound to be some hiccups, but thank you for chilling with us as we kind of roll with the punches here.
Yeah, we're up here bright and early at 1 p.m. EST on a Saturday.
Bright and early? When did you wake up?
I don't want to talk about that. Hey, in my defense, I'm in the Central Time Zone, so.
Okay, you probably woke up at like 11 a.m. your time.
Sure, we'll go with that. But yeah. Due to some technical difficulties, I think White Prawns are going to get that game 1 under their belt. So, yeah, we're actually just going to go right to game number 2, actually, straight onto TC Inkblot. So, if you want to see Zones Haggle,
I kind of wanted to see Haggle Zones.
Too bad.
Too bad.
Maybe later today.
But yeah, we are going to be going into game 2 Tower Inkblot here. So.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a classic tower map. I feel like all tower maps in this game are kind of just, they live and die by how hard it is to break that second checkpoint. And Inkblot is probably the least extreme in that regard, but that second checkpoint is still a pretty big bottleneck.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that Tower Inkblot seems like one of the more fair tower control maps in the game. I know that there are some that are like, it feels like terrible to go through the last check. But we are going to get right into it. The first and or second game of the day on stream, we are seeing Low Ink Day 1. And we're going to get right into it. We are seeing a new, I don't know the legal names of the new weapons, so I'm just going to be calling them the new ones. We see the new sword, and we're only seeing the new sword, actually.
I believe that is the Stickers Swatana Stamper. I don't mean to actually you, but I think that's what it's called. I could be wrong on that one.
Thank you. Please actually me.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing Frog here getting off to a good start on the Splash-O-Matic. And already we're seeing 2 down on the side of, I believe, White Prawns Meetup. And first check is already being activated by Purple Blob.
Yep, Nerdlet is holding the tower strong through the first checkpoint, absolutely obliterating the first checkpoint. That is Purple Blob on the tower right now. We are seeing a crab from Frog in the bats area trying to cancel out any type of push that White Prawns is going to try and do. The tower is kind of going to be hurtling towards the next checkpoint, already marching through it, already through checkpoint 2. And yeah, we're headed into checkpoint 3.
Yeah, I think this E-Leader is just desperately trying to get away from the sword on the tower that's just been chasing them down. Sword is going to be able to find a pick onto the teammate, though. The Splash now is going to be able to take down the sword, though. And this push from Purple Blob could still be going on. There's a crab on that tower, but this dually player from White Prawn Meetup able to get them off the tower for just a little bit. But yeah, this is a really strong start for Purple Blob. Already down 2 checkpoints and still has so much control over the enemy flat.
For sure. They had such a long first push, and I mean, it felt like it was way longer, but it was only about 1 minute and 30 seconds, which is ample time for White Prawns to be able to get back into it and possibly do another lead swap. But, I mean, Purple Blob is kind of taking charge of the tower here. There are 3 down from White Prawns, 2 specials online from Purple Blob. It is really looking good for them to continue this push even further than they did before.
Yeah, I mean, Purple Blob is already back at it again in the enemy flag, getting even more points on the board, now below that 40-point marker, making their way toward that 3rd checkpoint. And this S-Blast is going to be chipped up, trying to find a good angle on the tower, but it's going to go down. It's just this dually popping the crab tank, trying to find the pick on this E-Leader, which has been staying alive on the tower. Gets flanked by the sword, though. This checkpoint only has a few points to go, and this leader staying alive on the tower, so close to this knockout here, going to be taken down, but Frog is still here with the Splash-O-Matic, the last one alive, but is still holding it down here for Purple Blob, and that lead stands at 7 points.
Frog is able to get a jump in for their stickers, a Splatoon stamper. I said the name correctly, and they are still in bats. I will say, Purple Blob has a very strong hold on their pushes. They are difficult to get rid of. I feel like they've had consistent pushes for about like half of the game so far, just not allowing White Prawns to even get control of their spawn area. So we are seeing some specials being tossed. The game is pretty even in paint right now as we are getting back into mid here. So, I mean, I'm not going to say anything about White Prawns. They are still in the game. They're still able to make something happen, especially with the Booyah Bomb that may be online, unfortunately getting canceled out by water.
Oh my goodness, it's just been perpetual advantage for Purple Blob for about 3 minutes now. It's just that S-Blast able to find a pick on that zap to at least stop the wipe up from happening, but the tower still moving forward, courtesy of Nerdlet, that E-Leader sitting on the tower, giving those jumps, has the Wavebreaker at the ready, the newly buffed Wavebreaker, might I add. It's going to go down, though, but this tower is just so deep into the enemy spawn here for White Prawn Meetup, and Purple Blob just continuing this aggression. They still have the numbers advantage this deep in enemy spawn with just 1:30 to go.
There's such aggressive weapons on Purple Blob. I will say that they have the uncanny ability to keep stable. They have an astounding stability. Nobody is really just kind of like throwing themselves in and dying. They're making sure that they are always able to get jumps in for their teammates in order to ensure a really, really strong push. And that's probably what's propelled them all the way to 7 points. I mean, there's no points on the board for White Prawns, and there's about a minute left. They just keep going down and down. Unfortunately, they're in a stagger right now. Frog is absolutely tearing them up on the Splash-O-Matic. One goes down and 2 specials are up on the board with a minute left.
Yeah, there's the Zip and that Wavebreaker up for Purple Blob, but now I think we're starting to see a bit of a fight back here for White Prawn Meetup. The Stamper, though, just trying to keep them at bay right now on this plat area. The Crab is going to be popped to try and force them out, but I think this is actually just White Prawn Meetup trying to defend their own spawn right now. And the Stamper just so good at just stalling that attention away. And again, we're 30 seconds to go. White Prawns Meetup has not even touched the tower yet in this game, and they might not get the chance to with just how it's been going. It's just such a strong advantage taken by Purple Blob. But the S-Blast able to find a pick on that leader.
I feel like with the leader going down, this is a great opportunity for White Prawns to be able to make something happen in a last-ditch effort. But, I mean, everybody is just kind of throwing themselves at the tower in order to make it go just a few inches forward. But unfortunately, 3 do go down for White Prawns, and they have about 5 seconds left and a few specials under their belt in order to make something happen. We just really need to live on the tower. The crap is going to get canceled out, and that is the game for Purple Blob going 1-1.
Yeah, tying up that set after conceding game number 1 due to some unforeseen issues, I guess. Well, maybe a bit foreseen, but you know what I'm saying. The set count is going to be tied at 1-1, and we're going to be going to game 3, but Purple Blob is going to be going into Rainmaker Undertow with a ton of momentum.
For sure, and I mean, momentum is exactly what you need in order to go into, what was it again? I'm sorry, my brain
Maker
is
Undertow?
yes, Rainmaker Undertow. That is exactly the momentum that you need in order to go into that match because I feel like if nobody makes a move, you can be in a stalemate for about 2 or 3 minutes or even the whole game.
Yeah, Rainmaker Undertow is interesting. Rainmaker as a mode is kind of interesting because we talked about all the changes that came about with 10.0. Rainmaker was definitely changed by a lot of the new weapons. I don't know how much we'll be seeing it because, most of the new weapons haven't really come out to play so far in this set, but that midi splatling Rattler and the Glamorous Splatter Shot, very, very strong in this mode. I don't know how much we'll see it on this map, but this map, it just kind of, it's very centralized on which way you want to push for the check, and then how do you want to push thereafter. Typically, that left route is going to be pretty safe, but it's going to be a long trek toward that checkpoint, and especially toward the knockout.
Yeah, for sure. The left route is definitely the road more taken. However, in the past few sets that I've commentated recently, I have been seeing some like sneaky right side plays where it's like everybody's looking left, so let's take it right. And it does work, but I don't know if it can fruit a very strong push. So we'll see how this happens in how this map plays out. I will say that once you kind of get the first check on this map mode, if you are able to move it past the first check, it's almost entirely game over. You're just gonna chew away points just really quickly. But yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get right into it. Game number 3 here between Purple Blob and White Prawns Meetup. Here we're gonna see the leaders stick around as well as the V-Shot being picked instead of that splash. We're gonna be seeing the new dually come out though on the side of White Prawn Meetup, so that bubbler might be what they need.
All right, Twinkles Dualies fans. I am a big fan of the new kit. I do think that the Dualies is a very fun option, but it wasn't really like that viable if you wanted to be a support player. So now you're like, okay, let's be support. Let's have a bubble. And I think that it'll be quite helpful for White Prawns as they try and get through the checks here. So we are going to be seeing just a very neutral game, kind of different to the last one. Like I said, Undertow is pretty neutral until somebody makes the first jump. So
yeah, and it can be kind of daunting to move around in this middle of the map. It's very, condensed and very closed off. The Stamper actually going to be flanked by the other Stamper, forces Zipcaster away, trying to stay alive, but in the barrage of shots right now, and trying to protect their own landing right now. It's just utter pandemonium, but the Stamper probably going to go down. Maker is going to be grabbed here by Purple Blob, but not a lot of control by this left side means they're going to have to run it right to try and get this checkpoint, and they're going to be able to get so close, but not quite able to get the checkpoint break quite yet.
For sure, quite good points from the side of Purple Blob, but not enough to break the check or get any momentum off of it. We are seeing Soranas here on the dualies trying to defuse a situation down in mid, but unfortunately 2 do go down, and we are going to see Water try and throw themselves for the Rainmaker, trying to get checked, but unfortunately 2 go down on both sides. Once again, it's pretty neutral of a game, although White Prawns is on the back foot as they are trying to get the Rainmaker out of their area. We are seeing Azuka online just kind of being held, and there we go. It is being shot out and ready. The juice is up. We are ready for sippies, and we are going to be doing a push.
Yeah, Soda is online here right now for Purple Blob, trying to get back into that Maker area, but it's going to be reset here. They're going to get a quick pop, though, and just look at the map control. The orange on the map from Purple Blob, a little bit counterintuitive, but they're making it work regardless. They have a Maker already. The Zipcaster is headhunting, is going to find a pick, is going to try and find another, and that should be an easy checkpoint break here for Purple Blob.
And they are still trying to go through the right check. We are able to break the right check. Blake here on the heavy edit, trying to prevent anybody from moving forward. I'm curious to see, despite this map control from Purple Blob, are they going to be able to push this Rainmaker any further? And it looks like they are going to. They're going to opt to take the ramp, and they break it all the way down to 33 points.
That is a really strong push on this map, especially considering we've not, the checkpoint has not been broken for White Prawn Meetup. Technically, a good push on this map is going to be below that 20-point mark. You can get quite far on that left route if you can make it there, but it's a big question of if you can make it there. And so far, White Prawn Meetup has been kind of struggling in this neutral play here. So here we go. We have 2 minutes to go. They have to mount some kind of response, and it has to happen now.
For sure, White Prawns is going to have to make something happen now that they have some purchase back in mid. We are seeing some purple paint on the ground, which is really good for White Prawns. We are going to be seeing a sneaky little flank from Frog on the shot here, trying to take some attention away from mid so that White Prawns won't be able to do anything. And now Nerdlet is back holding the Rainmaker, but they're sitting a little pretty right now because they do have quite a strong lead, although it doesn't guarantee a win just yet, knowing this map mode.
Yeah, I mean, right now I feel like we're just going to be seeing Purple Blob try and stall for time as much as possible, and you can see Nerdlet. They knew they were going to die, so they're just going to run the Rainmaker forward and make it so the White Prawn Meetup has to run that much further if they want to get the lead in their own hands here. And the Sniper's going to be popping the shield, going to be contesting this area with the help of Frog on the flank, and the Zip is going to be popped yet again, trying to find some more picks and just further delay this response. There's only a minute 15 left on the clock, and the more time that Purple Blob can stall, then the less time White Prawn Meetup is going to have for the push that they need to take this set.
I completely agree. I mean, kudos to Purple Blob for their timing, for their patience, and they know that they don't have to rush this. They can kind of just hold it and allow White Prawns to come to them, which is exactly what they're doing. And it kind of puts White Prawns in a really sticky situation because we kind of have to shoehorn ourselves into the Orange Ink in order to make something happen. I'm not too sure like where the specials are from the side of White Prawns. It just feels like they keep going down before they can get a solidified special push up with 3 down from White Prawns. It's not really looking good, and Nerdlet is going to be able to run the Rainmaker just to laying out the red carpet all the way to the podium. But they're almost they're just barely alive.
Again, the second game in the row, we're seeing a push to 7 points here from Purple Blob. White Prawn Meetup now has 15 seconds to make the trek all the way to the other side of the map, scored 94 points, and it's going to have to happen entirely in overtime if they want a chance at the set, but it is just not looking pretty for them right now. Overtime is probably going to stop. The Maker is going to be popped. It's going to be grabbed by Glack, but the Stamper is already here getting the pick, and that is going to be Purple Blob taking it 2-1.
I did not even see that Stamper. I was just like, Stamper jump scare in my face. I was like, I felt the visceral fear in that person's person's body as the Stamper was just like, oops, hi, I'm here. Now you're canceled out, and now we took the set.
Yeah, I mean, after, Purple Blob had to concede that first game, that was just a really dominant showing in games 2 and 3. Again, getting it to 93 points, or getting 93 points scored 2 games in a row and just completely preventing White Prawns Meetup or even having the chance of scoring their own points. That was just a really dominant showing from Purple Blob.
For sure. I mean, Purple Blob, they had very good patience in their games. I mean, they knew that they had it in the bag, so they're like, we don't have to overextend here. We can kind of just wait for an opportunity of the other team to mess up. So that's exactly what they did. But, I mean, good showing from White Prawns, though. I feel like, it's always very tough to be, doing the first match of the day. We are going to be seeing the summary of Group A. 07 Honorbound went 3-0. Sea Dragons went 3-0. We're seeing a lot of 3-0s here.
Yeah, shout out to definitely the pickup name of all time, getting a 3-0 win over X name. Sea Dragons 3-0, yeah. Purple Blob, of course, you can see it toward that bottom right side, right next to Anarchy Stars, getting the 3-0 over Flood Warning. So most of these round 1 sets are wrapping up. Paladins is up 2-0 over against Hydra. Krillstreak and Exception actually going to Game 3, as is Star Guardians and Freak Force. So definitely a bit down to the wire in both of those sets. So definitely ones to watch out for.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel like some teams are probably going to have a 5-0 run, maybe a 6-0 run. I'm not sure. I want to see a 6-0 run. I feel like I can't really predict who it's going to be, but maybe it'll happen. And now we are seeing Group B. Like you said before, just a lot of 3-0s. Jam versus Mammoth Meatball, and Aquatic Assault versus Camo. They had 2-1. It's pretty even overall. There are a few people still playing their sets, so that is going to be wrapping up quite shortly. But yeah.
We talked about the in Group A, and now Group B just has the going up against Ascension Rising.
I really like that team name. Go the.
Let's go the. I mean, hey, down 0-2 means round 1 is not going to be quite in your favor, but there's 5 rounds to go. You got this. Let's go the.
This is why in my server I have a channel for pickup name ideas, so that nobody ends up with just the.
Hey,
But then again, maybe I should add the as a pickup name idea. That sounds pretty cool.
do you want to read some of them out? Because there's a lot of good ones in there.
Let me see. Let me see if there's any good pickup name ideas that you can use for your next pickup.
Can I say a personal favorite of mine?
Sure.
John Splatoon Butch Lesbian. That's a phenomenal pickup name.
John Splatoon Butch Lesbian is one of my favorite pickup names. Another one is Dude, I Know That Guy. Another good pickup name is Steely Dan Sweatpants. Evie Zin Pouch, another good one.
I don't know if we can say that on the stream.
Sorry, excuse me.
There's That Bird That I Hate. That's a good one. Oh, man.
And my next one is definitely going to be Who Said That? Was That the Wind?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of fun. I mean, I feel like low ink is just a great time to sort of, I guess, show what your pickup, like, your pickup name creativity. Low ink and Swimmer Sync definitely are where you can kind of show off how creative you can be. Or, I guess, in some cases, uncreative. And just how much you want to make the commentators not enjoy saying your team name.
I remember when I told you that my team name was going to be YouTube to MP4 free online converter, and you got very upset with me.
It's a phenomenal name. However, I still have not casted one of your sets, and that is by design.
I mean, to be fair, we are kind of on a break as we do real life stuff, but that gives me the opportunity to commentate some wonderful sets, and I do really love doing this.
True, I love commentating. I love commentating with my friend Nell.
I love yapping with my friend Pinky.
I just love yapping. I think I love yapping and I love my friends, and that's what it's all about.
Wow, that's the Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Happy Pride Month, quite frankly, happy Pride Month.
But yeah, I mean, this summer we're gonna have a ton of Splatoon stuff coming up just from the community itself.
We have Super Jump next week, I think.
Yeah, and
happening?
Yeah, I think so. And we are having just a handful of lands coming up too. So I'm super excited. It's gonna be a really fun summer for Splatoon. It's hashtag Summer of Splatoon 2025.
Get that trending on Blue Sky. Hashtag Summer of Splat.
For sure. Man. But I mean, it just makes me happy to see that the update kind of just invigorated everybody to create and share the community that they love so much. And I know that so many of the TOs have been putting in so much effort towards their events. Kudos to everybody that's kind of contributing to the community in their own way.
No, shout out to TOs. TOs have been going crazy. They've been cooking up some crazy stuff for the season and just for Splatoon in general. Of course, we have 2 circuits on the way. We have the Splat World Series, and I think the Nintendo thing that they briefly teased. I don't know when that's going to start happening, but Splat World Series is quite frankly just a week away. So
God has mentioned another really good pickup name. International House of Goog.
Wait, it's not Google? Is it just Goog?
It's just Goog. That's the whole thing.
Thank you, God. That's a phenomenal contribution.
Yeah, one of my things is that I call the little people in my ear God. So if you hear me mention God, I'm just getting a sign from God right now.
Shout out to Inkfarer for being the god of this stream.
It's just Goog.
It begins and ends with Goog.
I love that. But I mean, honestly, just the fun and the creativity the community continues to astound me with, I love it. I love it.
I love the whimsy. There's just so many whimsical beings in the Splatoon community, and I love interacting with them all. It's so much fun.
International House of Goog, iHog.
iHog is really good.
That's really good.
That's added to the pickup names, I fear.
We can't just steal a pickup name. They have to come organically from the brain.
You're right. Hey, you know what? Shoutouts to the players on iHog for your masterpiece. Showcase on the stream.
When we're waiting for next matches, we just end up looking at the team names and we're like, that's a good name. That's a good name. That's a good name.
Yeah, it is a good name. I mean, look, it's part of the fun. You just see people goofing and gaffing. It's a great time.
Oh my goodness. Delicious graham cracker dinner, and their team tag is dot.
That's really good.
That's really good.
Oh man.
Delicious graham cracker dinner.
That's great. I love that.
And obviously we have Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm.
Oh, 1000%. That's great.
Another one is yeah, you go.
Oh, shout outs to Minecraft Bedrock Edition. That was one of the ones I saw.
I like Whatever Go My Mini because, new mini.
I love It's Blue Pikmin June because you know what? It is Blue Pikmin June.
It is Blue Pikmin June. I need to send you an image that I think that team is referencing.
I love Pikmin. Oh, also shout outs to Mammoth Meatball, parentheses, the comeback. That's really good. Shout out.
I really like the. I just have to say the.
It's just stuck in my head right now.
But yeah, and then Mammoth Meatball to come back. Pangea, they're coming back together. I'm still waiting for Pangea to come back together. You know about Pangea?
I think I know a few things about Pangea. I wasn't quite old enough to witness it, but I've heard a thing or two about Pangea.
I wasn't old enough to witness it. Is it crazy? Maybe I was old enough to witness it because I'm older than you.
maybe that's the pre-Y2K difference.
I was born in the 1900s. That means I obviously know Pangea personally, and the dinosaurs too.
I was born in the same year as the Nintendo DS.
What? No,
Yeah.
you weren't. No, you weren't.
I literally was.
No, I was cognizant when I held my first chunky Nintendo DS.
Yeah, the DS came out in November 2004, and I was born in March of that year.
I just heard my phone ding, and I've been missing my phone all day. I wonder where it went.
Yeah, we were.
Wait, I'm like, where did it? What?
So, added context, before the block started, Nell was like, "I don't know where my phone is, but that's okay. We're just gonna ball."
Can you call my phone?
I don't have your phone number now.
Hold on, I'll send it to you. Can you call my phone, please? I really need to find it.
You know what? I got you, Queen.
Okay, thank you. I'm sending you my phone number so you can call it. I really need to find it.
I love that we're doing this. We're just doing this live. I love that.
I'm waiting.
I'm typing it out. All right.
Wait, I hear it. Hold on. Wait, hold on.
I can hear it on your mic.
Where is it? What the heck? What the heck?
Did Peter take it? My call's been forwarded to an automatic voice message.
I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better. I'll have you call it later.
Not now. We gotta lock in. We're commentating.
Not now. We gotta lock in.
Oh man.
But I really can't find it. I can hear it. I'm sorry. This is what happens when you put both of us on the mic.
This is why I love commentating, and this is why I love my friends.
I love my friends very much, and I love the Splatoon community, and I'm just full of whimsy on this Saturday morning. Never mind, it's 1:30 p.m.
Anyway, we have our round 2 squared away. We have delicious graham cracker dinner because Rising Beyond the Tides.
Heck yeah, all right. I'm really excited to see what delicious graham cracker dinner can bring to the table here. Maybe a delicious graham cracker dinner, possibly.
Oh, my head hurts from laughing. That was really good. I would love a delicious graham cracker dinner.
I keep hearing me getting text. All right. Anyways, so as we're getting the room quite situated, let me see. The first, I'm not gonna. No, I won't spoil the first map mode. I won't spoil it.
That'll be our little surprise.
I'll be good. I'll be good.
I don't know. I'm thinking about foiling your plants and just spoiling it anyway.
Why would you do that?
That'd be so devious of me.
You are a little devious little thing. I mean, it's Pride Month, so I'll grant you one spoiler.
You support trans rights and trans wrongs.
So true.
Anyway,
so true.
game 1's gonna be on Clanblitz Scorch Gorge.
Classic. Oh
And
my
there it
goodness.
is.
Yay, there it is. All right, yes. So it is still going to be best of 3. Round 2. Clanblitz Scorch Gorge, Mahi Mahi Zones, and Tower Makomar. I actually have to look at the bracket to double check what each team is at right now and if they won their previous set.
I think Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner would never lose, but that's just me.
Even if they lose, I don't think they would ever lose, frankly.
God bless.
Sorry, I'm looking at... There's so many people playing this tournament. Wow, you guys are good at this game. You guys are great. Thank you for showing up.
So true. Yeah, thank you for making this a wonderful low ink. You get to be foretold. I'm excited to see how this tournament's gonna shake out.
Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner did win their last set. It was 2-1. Congratulations to them. And let me find Rising Beyond the Tides. They did also win their previous set 2-1. So this is going to be the tiebreaker of round 2, I suppose.
Between two teams that are 1-0 and the second set out of 6 for the day. Definitely, I don't know if there's a ton of stakes in this one, but you know.
Ooh, steak, yummy. Delicious steak dinner. Why are you laughing at me? That wasn't even funny.
Because you said, steak, yummy.
Okay. Did you hear a lie?
No.
We were literally talking the other day about how Freddy's burgers taste really good.
I love Freddy's burgers. And not it's not even Freddy Fazbear's, like just Freddy's steak burgers in general. Just a great establishment.
Oh, I keep forgetting to tell the chat to gamble. My bad, y'all. Sorry,
on,
guys.
let's go
I keep
gambling.
forgetting to tell you guys to gamble. I need to keep an eye on that next time. I'll be sure to remind you guys to gamble responsibly with your channel points.
Yeah, I mean, we've already been gambling all of our Sheldon licenses away, not thinking third gifts would happen, and then
Don't remind me. Don't remind me.
See, I never gambled a Sheldon license away because I knew I had faith, I had hope.
Because you're better than me. That's what you're saying.
That's actually not what I said. If you'll check the VOD, but if you'll check the court hearings, that's not what was said.
Court hearings. Do we have like a person that's typing all of this out?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we
Inkfair's
have a
our stenographer.
Mhm.
Because they don't do enough.
Thank you to our TOs. Thank you to our staff. Thank you to the streamer. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you to everyone making Loic possible every month because it's just such an event. It's so good.
It's the event of all time, but like I mean that in a good way.
It's the Comp Splatoon tournament. I feel like it's
I know. And
you're
I love
Loic
it.
band. You can say you're Loic band. You can put that on your Tinder bio, and you get so much riz from that.
Okay, okay.
I mean, we wouldn't know. You and I would not know.
No, I
However,
wouldn't know.
one of these teams in this tournament might get to know that pleasure, and that will all be seen as we go into game number 1 of this set between Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner and Rising Above the Tide.
For sure. We are getting right into it. We are seeing the Winter Rapid Pro, excuse me. I don't know the full legal name yet, as we've said before. And we are seeing the new Carbon. Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
I'm really intrigued by the comp on, I believe it's Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner, because you know me, I do love a good headed.
Yeah, we have Heavy Edit Splatting, Dreadringer, Sorella Brella, and the new Carbon Roller, whose name is currently evading me, but that's okay, because I did not expect to see it with, Fizzy and Chump, the Bamboo Mark II kit, but it can be kind of annoying to just to catch that Carbon, because it's just throwing stuff at you constantly, and then it just decides to shark in, so already we're just seeing some good old-fashioned planless neutral. The two are going to go down on Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner as Rising Beyond the Tide, getting the numbers advantage, but the map control is actually going right in hand of Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner right now, but the first point is just being scored already on the other side of the map.
Rising Beyond the Tides is able to kind of go behind everybody and score some clams in the basket, getting the points down to 68. But, 3 go down, unfortunately, and it's just the Rapid Pro Winter. They are being hunted down by Noxy, unable to get picked off just yet. We are seeing them still alive, preventing the wipeout fully. But that's a very, a pretty reasonable push from Rising Beyond the Tides.
Yeah, I mean, typically the mark I look for in clanless pushes is to go below that 60-point mark because 2 power claims are going to get to 60, but for Scorch Gorge and for a first push, this is honestly pretty solid here for Rising Beyond the Tide. Also, I just noticed they have a Sploosh-O-Matic, and that is just incredibly cool, and I salute that every single time I'm going to see it, so love to see it, but we're seeing Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner trying to get towards that basket, but it's going to be losing the power claim just a bit short of that. Sasha going to be patrolling this area with the heavy edit splatting, but going to go down as well. Slider tries to break the Booyah, but it's probably not much longer for this world yet, and already we're going to be seeing 2 down on the side of Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner.
I feel like Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner just had their timing off a littlest bit, because I did see that the Dreadringer player had their Reef Slider ready. They were coolered up. They were like almost mid Reef Slider. They threw the ball and then boom, they just got canceled out. So it was just like a timing issue. But hopefully we're able to get back into it. Although I will mention that Rising Beyond the Tides does have the stronger clam economy here, and they are kind of commanding the paint on the board, so they're sitting quite pretty even if they don't have that strong of a lead in order to guarantee a win here. We are seeing a pick getting plucked from Edgar here over on the Sploosh. Sploosh stocks are up, everybody, and the basket is getting broken once more.
And the points are just disintegrating away, down to 22, and the basket is still open. And the Ancient's going to go down to the Rapid Blaster, I believe, and this Rapid's still holding so much control. Going to get 2 indirects on that edit spotting, forcing them to back away just a little bit. And all of a sudden, you know, Rising Beyond the Tide is just a stone's throw away from this knockout, just 2 clamps to go. And those clamps are going to be picked up and going to be tossed in by Edgar on the Sploosh. So that's going to be a knockout here for Rising Beyond the Tide.
Very clean game from Rising Beyond the Tide. Very strong showing, especially in their first game here. I mean, just their ability to, well, I mean, we missed the timing at the beginning in order to, you know, have a longer push, but they got it back. And I don't think the basket closed in their second push whatsoever, which is really admirable. I feel like Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner, unfortunately, was just not able to get back out of their spawn or get a hold of what was going on here.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it went from 68 plus 16, which I think is 84. So 84 points to knockout. Definitely, you know, a very strong push, especially on a map like Scorch, where it can be kind of hard to break through. But once you're in, if you get some good control, the points can just kind of fly away. So good stuff there to Rising Beyond the Tides to get that Game 1 victory under their hands. You're going to see a nice replay of just the final moments of that push. But yeah, good stuff.
For sure. I mean, a very strong showing from Rising Beyond the Tides. I will say that they only have shooters on their team. I'm not sure if that is going to be a liability for their comp or what, or if we're going to be seeing them being, I mean, as a headed player, I like to chew up shooters like their breakfast. But I mean, if they have all of these specials under their belt and if they have that momentum, it's very difficult to get a handle on the situation. So I'm curious to see on a more condensed map like Mahi Zones here coming up soon, how that's going to differ.
Wait, did you just call the Winter Rapid a shooter?
Was it not 4 shooters?
I think it was Winter Rapid as the last. I could be mistaken.
Oh, okay, Slay. I don't.
I'm like, we're not partying like a Splatoon 1 anymore. The blasters are its own class, but
I saw I saw the Splash, the Sploosh,
the Pro, Forge Pro, and
yes.
Then I think Winter Rapid.
Oh, okay. Thank you for paying attention.
I do. You know what? I do what I can. Maybe somebody will find
I love you because you actually me all the time, and then I'm like, oh, okay, Slay. I mean,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the Winter Rapid is going to be faring on a map with like Zones Mahi. It's just a little. I feel like it might just be too condensed, but also Rapid is just kind of a cracked main weapon. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, who knows what's going to happen. I feel like the range will be very helpful on this map, but I mean, I feel like the comp from Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner has a lot of gimmicks under their belt. They have the umbrella, they have the Reef Slider, they have the chumps, they have a lot of, you know, zones flipping power. I'm curious to see if that's going to fare better in this match than it did in the previous match.
Yeah, Dread is very good on this map, in my personal opinion. As a bit of a Dread player, Dread is very strong on this map. So that's definitely going to be something that Rising Beyond the Tides is going to have to contend with here. But we're getting right into game 2. We're trying to see if Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner can get on the board, or if Rising Beyond the Tides is going to go up 2-0.
It is still play all 3 though, so we aren't going to have to see a full wipeout here. No change from Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner, but we are going to be seeing the 52 Gal and the Forge actually on the side of Rising Beyond the Tides, which I'm very happy to see. And of course, the leader with Respawn Punisher is going to be. Did I get the weapons wrong again?
No, I'm confused because the Sploosh went from playing Sploosh to leader.
I mean, I love a flexible person,
That might be going beyond, I think, what my understanding of human flexibility is. However, Edgar is here to prove me wrong, it seems. Already got an opening pick with that leader, and already early zone control here for Rising Beyond the Tide.
Well, for sure. We're seeing Sasha here trying to stabilize their team, get the cooler out, getting their team ready to push in. But the water is going to be dropping as we speak here, which does open the map up quite a bit. And we do see chumps going out on the field. We're going to try and see a zone flip. We do see the zone flip. Unfortunately, 3 go down from the side of Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner, and that is a delayed wipe on the side of Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner. We do see a how do I explain what just happened?
I really don't know. I think it's the sliders went no talk me Angie into the wall.
The slider jumped in.
Yeah, I guess that's another way of putting it. But yeah, already through the penalty here, we're going to be seeing Rising Beyond the Tide trying to get more points on the board, but Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner is going to be able to stop that point being scored, trying to get some more points of their own, tends to be able to force the jump out here as Brian's going to be chilling here with this Dread Ringer close to another slider. And now we're seeing we're seeing Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner get their first chance at a good hold.
For sure. I'm really excited to see them have this hold here because I feel like we haven't really gotten a chance to see them with a hold just yet. So, I mean, we are seeing 2 down. Tensui is trying to push up, able to get a pick on the Charger here, the former Sploosh-o-matic, which is going to be very good for this. The lead is going to swap here. We are seeing the Booyah Bomb out. We're going to see teams try and fight for the control of the zone. The Reef Slider is getting canceled. Beyond the Tides does have a massive player advantage right now as 3 go down from the side of Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner, and the points are just melting away.
Yeah, and this Gal is going to be set up here with this wall so incredibly hard to remove from the spot right now. But the Dreadrig is one of those that can do it, so able to force the Gal off the plot a little bit. So a little bit of stability regained here for Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner. Slider being popped on the zone, but not enough special power up to get that cap on its own, and not enough to stack that penalty against them. But there we go. Finally, the penalty is going to be stacked against Rising Beyond the Tide. They did, get the lead back from Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner, but at least they're still in this game, still fighting with about 2 minutes to go. Ed's going to be able to find a pick. Sasha's able to find a nice double here, and 3 are going to go down as Edgar gets picked off.
Not to cheer on the heavy edit, I'm just a little bit biased towards heavy edits. We are going to see Tensui try and push up with the Brella here, trying to cause some havoc. They are quite close to getting a jet here, unable to get it out quick enough. Sasha is going to have the tactic cooler out and about, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like a lot of their teammates are going to be able to take hold of it because but Rising on the Tides is going to be able to try and flip the zone with multiple specials under their belt here. They are going to give Graham Cracker Dinner a hefty penalty of 34.
Yeah, 34 is where that penalty lies. It's 2v2. Actually, it's just going to be the Carbon Alive for Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner, so they're probably going to be starting from scratch. Meanwhile, Rising Beyond the Tide's already done with that penalty pretty much, and they're kind of threatening a knockout at this point in time. The zone timer ticks much faster than you might expect, so this is one of the last chances that Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner has to take this game, but the slider and the Inkling is going to be enough to get that cap for them. Strikes to be popped out by Rising Beyond the Tide, and 2 are going to go down from Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner. That might just be enough to get another strong control here for Rising Beyond the Tides. Noxie's the last one alive on this Carbon, just flip-flopping for dear life, gets the pick onto the Gal, but a minute left on this clock, and Carbon is still the only one in zone.
That Carbon was living against all odds there, Finky. We do see 2 up from Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner. Although the zone is still in their favor, their penalty is still being chewed through. The zone is now back to neutral. We're seeing Edgar being pushed up in a very prime spot for the leader to be in. The leader does go down, 2 go down. It's pretty much just a bloodbath in the last 30 seconds of this match. Although I will say that Rising Beyond the Tides is chewing up their penalty quite well, and 3 do go down from Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner unless Mr. Graham Cracker and his dinner are able to push up and get something happening with the specials on the board in the next few seconds. It may be game.
Yeah, Chumps and Slider trying to be enough to get the cap, but it's not enough on their own. The jetpack is not going to be able to paint. 3 are going to go down. That is a wipeout and a knockout here in game number 2, Rising Beyond the Tide up 2-0 in this play all 3 set.
Kudos to Rising Beyond the Tides. There was a pretty back and forth match in the middle there. And I feel like Rising Beyond the Tides was just able to get a lot of really good triples when it mattered.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner just went 3 down just a little bit too often. You never want to go 3 down, and that just kind of kept happening to Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner. So, not quite able to get that done in that second game. But, even if you're conceding this round 2 set, there is still a third game to try and get yourself on the board. So that is what Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner is going to be playing towards right now. And game 3 is going to be Tower on Mako Mart.
I mean, kudos to Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner. I really do like the use of the very aggressive Brella. I haven't seen that frequently, and I love seeing it when I do. So we'll see if that can provide maybe more of a defense on Tower Mako Mart, because, I mean, Mahi Mahi's a very small map. Like we said before, I feel like Mako Mart allows you to have a lot more flanking opportunities. We may see the Carbon be able to do a little bit more. The Carbon was living for dear life. I don't know if we both saw that. They were just kind of schmoovin' over there in that game.
Yeah, just kind of flipping around and somehow able to flip back and get the pick on that gal. It was definitely something to behold. I did enjoy seeing that. Definitely some moments of brilliance there for Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner. So I do have faith in them in this game number 3. But tower control on Mako Mart is a very balanced map mode for both sides. A lot of options, for both teams. I'm curious to see if that Dread is going to switch off, because Dread is not the strongest weapon on tower control, at least with this vanilla kit. Maybe the Horns Dreadringer can apply a bit more pressure, or just a different weapon. But yeah, we're in this game 3 scenario, and both these teams just trying to get the set done.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do want to say kudos to Edgar for being the flex player of all time. Like, they played the Sploosh and then they played the E-Leader, and they did pretty well on both of those weapons. So I'm curious to see if they're going to pull out just another random weapon that we don't know about, just to show, hey, I can play this too. And we're all like, whoa.
Yeah, like... I mean, maybe we're going to see... What would be the most unexpected possible weapon for this game 3, you think? After Sploosh and Leader?
L3.
Ooh, what about the jetpack L3?
Oh, that'd be fun.
I forget the legal name, but I just know it is the cool L3 that finally got
the cooler L3 is here.
That finally got a kid after like 3 years.
I don't know who told me this, but they were like, to differentiate between H3 and L3, just think H equals heavy and L equals light. And I'm like, oh, okay, got it. So I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, which one is the smaller one? It's the L3.
Raises my hand. I think that was me.
I see. This is why we're friends. You teach me so much.
It just works. Like
it just works.
It just works.
Shrugs. It just works. But we are going to be. Actually, we're not going to be getting into the final game because it is.
You know what? Maybe we're just gonna run it. Oh, Edgar's on Junior. That definitely was not what I expected.
That's not what I expected either. Okay, play it through.
Come on, you're already up 2-0.
Come on, just play it through. No, I'm kidding. We're not playing it through.
This Junior might be. Okay. Hero's gonna end that battle.
We were right. They did just pull out the most random weapon.
I mean, I guess Junior is a bit more similar to Sploosh than the Leader, but man, that Edgar is the flex player of all time, I guess.
It does look like they do have their fourth back and ready. Just a little bit of a hiccup there from the Wi-Fi that we all know and love from Splatoon 3. So hopefully we won't have to wait much longer, but I do really like the comps that I was seeing. I think that the bomb spam that we may see from the Junior is going to be quite fun.
As a slower weapon player, I don't know if fun is the word I would use, but
I am a support player and I think it's going to be fun. Have some fun, Pinky.
No.
Okay.
I can't do that, I'm sorry.
Understandable, have a nice day.
Puppy's now playing the Carbon Roller Deco, after playing, I think, Bucket and Rapid Pro Winter. So, we're seeing a lot of flex players coming out on the side of Rising Beyond the Tide, but yeah, we're going to be seeing mostly the same stuff from Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner, although we're seeing the Splat Roller instead of the Carbon, and I think the Vanilla Bella instead of Sorella.
For sure. I was gonna say a poor shooter team again, but then I looked and used my eyes, and they do have the carbon roller. I was listening to what you were saying, and carbon roller's out. We do see Puppy on the right side trying to get a sneaky pick with the carbon roller, and it's just a classic neutral game in the first 30 seconds. Brian is able to cancel out the bubble here for the side of Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner, getting picked off and traded by the junior. It's pretty neutral here. The tower is only at about 97 points. Hero on the crab trying to make something happen, able to get a pick. Fortunately, they're still 2 down, and Brian is taking this opportunity to push the tower just a little bit further.
That was just a bloodbath and breakfast over there. That not something you see every day, but yeah, we're gonna be seeing Brian trying to get set up here on this tower, but the edit's gonna go down from behind, and picks are just happening. Picks are being plucked. Slider gonna be able to get one more pick plucked on this field, but it is just so much is happening. So many picks are coming down, and there's been barely any points scored on this tower, and that is just what you love to see in this tower this whole game.
It is chaos with a capital C. What can I say? We are seeing the crab come out being knocked off of the tower. Absolutely boomeranged off of the tower here. But Rising Beyond the Tides is still, they do have numbers compared to Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner. Sorry, I keep wanting to say Delicious Steak Dinner because I've heard that team before. But, you know, I'm pro Graham Cracker as well. Puppy is going to get on the plat with Azuka. Just absolutely in Graham Cracker's face right now. They are not able to move forward. It is just a mess.
Oh my god, and they're already at that second checkpoint. Not able to break it, but they were able to get over there, get some work done on that checkpoint here. And they still have the numbers advantage here. Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner is in a bit of a stagger right now, a bit of a pickle, so it would seem. And Rising Beyond the Tide is just, right now they're just kind of chilling, trying to keep hold of this mid control and get more picks before their next push.
For sure. I feel like Rising Down the Tides is just incredibly aggressive. They are like, okay, you give us an inch, we're gonna push up now. And that is exactly what they're doing. We do see Tensui on the Brella, having the strikes ready, just waiting a little bit for their team to get back in order to use them. We are seeing the strikes being struck in order to get the tower a little bit back to a neutral position. It is still, I mean, even though Rising Down the Tides does have a very strong lead of 40, it's still anybody's game. Puppy is going to try and take out Sasha, the heavy edit player, and they are going to be using the Zuka for it to 2 down on both sides. It is just a bloodbath in a neutral state too.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see the total death count for this game because it's been looking like team deathmatch so far. You know, Rising Beyond the Tide does have this lead at 40 points, but definitely it's not unattainable by Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner by any means. They can definitely get there. They're getting to work on that first checkpoint. Crab is not going to be able to be popped to stop it. Strikes and Bubble are pulled out as well to keep the push going, but here comes that Crab tank. Shreds through the bubble, is going to get the pick on the tower as well, and force Sasha on this edit to sort of back up a little bit.
I mean, Rising Beyond the Tides, excuse me, Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner is in a very good state in order to make a push happen. I speak too soon because they go 2 down. You know how it is, Commentators curse, and now 3 go down, unfortunately, but they did show the ability that they are able to get the tower down to 58, so I feel like the Rising Beyond the Tides is going to have to push the tower even further than they did before if they want to guarantee their lead here, because you know how it is, anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, a minute to go on this game. Oh, the Crab able to find a pick on the Dread, and 2 are going to go down here. Bubble on the second checkpoint means a lot is going to happen on the second check. On the edit is the last one alive. Sasha desperately trying to regroup for the team and defend the checkpoint at the same time, and you just can't do both at once. And already Rising Beyond the Tide at that last checkpoint. They're trying to go 3 for 3 for knockouts in this set right now. They're putting points on this checkpoint right now. Brian trying to get this checkpoint contested with that Dreadrigger, moving the tower out the way with the Booyah finds 2. And this edit trying to shred this bubble. That's 3 going down. I think that's all she wrote here now.
Hold on, it's not over yet. We do see strikes on the tower, and I mean, there's bombs everywhere. I just don't know. And now I know. Oh my goodness. Rising Beyond the Tides goes 3-0.
3-0 for Rising Beyond the Tide. All 3 of them, I believe, being knockouts on 3 different modes. Very strong showing. Again, this is a very contested set. You know, Delicious Graham Cracker Dinner made them work for it, but Rising Beyond the Tide truly rised above and beyond in this set, and, you know, we're able to get a nice 3-0 win. Unfortunately,
that is how the Graham Cracker Dinner crumbles. I'm sorry, I thought that in my head, and I just had to say it, even though...
No, it was great. Don't worry.
I do like a good graham cracker.
Honestly, I could go for some s'mores right now.
Stop. I want s'mores so bad. Don't even mention her name.
Ooh, s'mores though. It sounds pretty good right about now.
It does.
I'm
It
not gonna lie.
does. It does. What are you going to rev up the grill or not?
I mean, I could. I don't think I would cook s'mores on the grill. I think I'd usually use a fireplace, but I guess to each their own.
Oh, back when I was a kid, we didn't have a fireplace, so
Back
we
in
were
my
just like,
day.
what if I just left right now? What if I just conceded left right now?
Back in my day, back in the
You'll have to find a new
1900s.
commentator. I'm out of here.
It's okay. I have God on my side in this VC. I'll be fine.
Whatever. We are seeing Group B round 2. The Summary Kittens is going 3-0 so far. They've gone 3-0 in both of the matches that they've done so far. The Horror also went 3-0. I like that game. I don't know why we didn't mention that one.
The Horror. I like this is a cool name, beating Daisy Mock Bike 2-1.
That's really good. I haven't actually played the new Mario Kart yet.
Is
'cause I
Mock
don't
Bike
have
in
the
the new
money.
Mario Kart? I also don't have the money. I can barely afford the s'mores I was talking about earlier. I don't think I can afford a Switch 2.
Yeah, you can't afford a delicious graham cracker dinner.
I can't afford a delicious graham cracker dinner. I can't afford to go to Riptide. I can't afford anything.
That's so sad. Anyways.
Anyway.
Anyways, so we are going to continue. Pangea goes 2-1 against Boat Goes Binted, which I do really like that team name.
That's a good one.
I like them. Wait, I love the team name C Drive. That's really smart. Do you see that? That's really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, people are so creative.
I mentioned that earlier.
I didn't listen to you. God forbid a woman forgets something.
You know what? You're right. My bad. I support women's rights and women's wrongs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shout out to Too Late getting the bye. Just too late.
Yeah, Too Late is getting the bye. Starboard wins against Rick Aura Rising. Hydra against whatever Go My ... I don't know what the last word is. Probably my Scarab or my Mini. Oh, it's my Mini. I'm so smart.
Oh, is it Go My Mini? That's good.
Yes, I'm so smart.
Yeah.
The is also going 3-0 against Kill Frequency. They are having a really good set so far. Set?
Oh, yeah.
Run? Set? I'm sorry.
Something like that. Also, Purple Blob, who we saw a bit earlier, is going to get another 2-1 set win, this time over Soyjack Squids. So that's something.
That's also
cool.
something. But yeah, White Prawns goes 1-2 to Adult Swim. We did see them earlier, so continuing to push forward. Freak Force goes 3-0 to Crankin' 28s. I really like the name Freak Force.
That, you know what? Sure. Shout outs Freak Force.
Shout outs to Freak Force.
Oh,
but,
man.
Yeah. Next up, we are going over to Swiss round 3. And then once we hit round 3, we are going to be halfway through today's tournament. I feel like it's going pretty quickly.
Oh, no. I fear we must address the Gators.
I fear we must address the Gators.
I fear we must.
This is fine. This is fine. Has been a fan favorite for a lot of people recently. Getting Div 5, and I mean, also remember to gamble. Remember to gamble your points.
Oh, remember to gamble. Yes, gamble.
Remember to gamble your channel points.
Gamble your life savings.
No, don't do that.
Gamble your inheritance money.
No, don't do that. Gamble your free channel points on who you think will win, and then maybe you can get the money back, because that's how that works.
Is that what happens when you gamble? I wouldn't know.
I know a lot about it.
Is that how it works for you?
Sometimes.
Would you say you get your money back on your gambling sites of choice?
I think we should change the subject. I don't think I should endorse this on. I don't think I should endorse gambling on IPL Productions. IPL Productions does not endorse gambling unless it is with your hard-earned free channel points. So
true. But yeah, we have our third Swiss set of the day between This Is Fine and Address the Gators. Both these teams are 1-1. So yeah, this is an important point, because if you lose the set, you go 1-2. You kind of have to win out and then hope that you have good enough resistance to make it into alpha or beta bracket. Whereas if you win this set, you just have a little bit of extra cushion, a little bit extra, just one extra set to fall back on, which is always nice.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I will say most teams probably want to go 6-0.
But like only one or two teams can go 6-0.
Yeah. Who knows? It could be Address the Gators or This Is Fine.
They each already lost a set now.
Oh, my bad. You keep me around for the personality, not for the knowledge.
You're the personality hire, yeah.
I'm the personality hire, obviously.
Oh, man.
Whatever. Anyways, the gambling is over. We are going to be getting into it shortly here. We are just kind of waiting for a few more people to trickle into the room. But
Have we spoiled the game 1 map?
I mean, you can spoil it if you would like to. I don't have the link open right now.
I already burned my signal you spoil punch card last set, so I think
Alright, give me one moment. I'm gonna address the Gators. Gators, Rainmaker Humpback.
What about This Is Fine? Are you not going to address them?
This Is Fine. Rainmaker Humpback.
There we go. Just keeping
That's
things.
the first one.
We're just restoring the balance. Game 1, Rainmaker Humpback. As I've always said, most teams have their normal comp and their Humpback comp. So I'm curious to see what the Humpback comps are going to look like before we return to normalcy in Zones Robo Ramen in Game 3.
I mean, a part of me really, really, really wants to see Heavy Deco.
Like the Kraken one?
Yes.
Okay.
I will not elaborate. I'm just kidding. I feel like Kraken is kind of like not a sleeper pick. I feel like it's going to be picked way more and more now for Rainmaker maps.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there is the G-Tech in the room with us. That's pretty good for Kraken spam.
Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it.
Yeah,
it's, a person can dream.
What is Heavy Deco? Is it like 200?
I don't know. I just like to play it. I don't know the numbers.
The special is ready when it's ready.
The special is ready when I say it's ready. So, I'll be honest. Like, I'm a heavy edit main. I don't even know what the numbers are for special. I think it's 200.
I think it's
no, it's 210. Yeah. Sorry, I'm using my brain, and I don't normally do that, so.
Especially on a Saturday.
Especially on a Saturday, Pinky. You are so absolutely correct, but we are going to be going into Rainmaker Humpback, then Clams Crab Leg, then Ramen Zones, and it is Playoff 3 once more. We are going to be getting into it quite shortly, so we don't have to hypotheticalize. That's a word I just made up. We don't have to hypotheticalize about the weapons that we're using any longer. We're going to get right into it. We are seeing a Carbon Deco and just the regular ZNF Splat Charger and a Nautilus with a brush.
Nautilus brush and Gluga dualies for This Is Fine and Address the Gators. Yeah, rocking the S-Blast and ZF and Carbon Deco comp, which is pretty cool if nothing else. I just wasn't expecting it.
I mean, if you know anything about This Is Fine, you know that Kale is a brush one trick, and we do believe that Jam plays Glugas kind of religiously, and so we are seeing them, This Is Fine, just kind of plummet through the first checkpoint. Now from Address the Gators is going to try and use some specials to get them out of their area. Splatoon is going to pick out 2. Love that, and Jam is already picking out the Rainmaker, and it's just, they're laying out the little orange carpet for them to push forward.
The scarlet carpet. Oh, it's being laid out. Oh, the points are disappearing. That's gore of the scoreboard, I fear. 33
Average Humpback moment.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, no, the Humpback moment would be getting the knockout randomly, but yeah, 33 for the lead stand. However, do not despair for Address the Gators fans. There's no safe lead in this map unless it's a knockout. So, Address the Gators still very much in it, but that's a very strong first minigame for This Is Fine.
I completely agree. We are seeing just control over mid here from Address the Gators. They are able to get a pick, 2 picks actually, with the Rainmaker, or maybe that was the Carbon or the Blaster. It was somebody got 2, and that was beautiful. We are seeing the checkpoint being plucked here, and it is looking good for Address the Gators. If they can get some more specials online to kind of guarantee their safe entry through this little choke point area, but it seems like with that Booyah Bomb, the Rainmaker may be reset here, which is going to be good news for This Is Fine because they're able to kind of get back their elbow area, but it was a very good push from Address the Gators.
Yeah, and checkpoints are down. That means the checkpoint's down. Rainmaker Humpback truly begins. We are back to Splatoon 2, and this is a map with a very storied history in Splatoon 2.
Wait, Kale's running
Kale
it.
is going crazy, harkening on their brush lineage, I guess. Gonna get the Rainmaker right back into enemy territory, but not quite building on that lead that This Is Fine had set earlier. But they're still contesting this pop beautifully. Val finally gonna be the one to get the pop, but the bomb gonna find the pick onto the S-Bots as well. Val, though, gonna be able to straight right back out of snipe on Jam.
Val with the beautiful flicks here. I do love to see good charger flicks. And now the Rainmaker is going to be reset, unfortunately, but it does buy This Is Fine a little bit more time with that cheeky push here. There is about half of the game still left, so it is anybody's game, like you said, with both checkpoints being broken. Unfortunately, it just seems like there's a barrage of ink from This Is Fine just kind of collapsing on Address the Gators. And like you said before, it's pretty laid out quite nicely for This Is Fine in order to push forward. We are being a little bit cautious. The Charger is going to get the pick on the Rainmaker, effectively kind of putting a pause button on their push, but they're still running it.
11 points until this knockout. And this junior is just on this flank, living large on this left side, just trying to distract as much attention as possible. Two players looking at it as the other two are going to roll out into mid is kind of exactly what you want from this kind of flank. And already by this Maker, going to find the pick with the bomb, set up the bubble to protect against the shot. Although this is going to get Kale killed in the process, but still, this is just a really good game from This Is Fine so far.
Oh, for sure. I think that this game just reflects This Is Fine's strengths. They are like, okay, we're very flexible. We go fast. We know what we're doing. We're just going to run it and be behind you and distract you. And like you said, this is just, they're just running the Rainmaker with no opposition right now, except for, never mind. Go my Zuka.
Except for this Zuka right in their face.
Except for the Zuka.
The Blaster also going to find a pick on the edit to cause a delayed wipe on This Is Fine. So now they're going to be starting to catch a little bit. Jam going to try and build up towards that Booyah, as going to be seeing Address the Gators trying to, they want to be addressed right now. They want to be respected in this game, but Jam just setting up the spot ball, dodge rolling behind it, finding some picks with the standard fire, and just throwing this Booyah right at this elbow, and just Address the Gators really struggling to break through this defensive formation right now.
For sure. I mean, Address the Gators is doing their absolute best. I will say that a lead of 11 isn't impossible, but they basically are going to have to get a knockout in order to guarantee a lead swap. And with 2 going down for Address the Gators, I mean, it's going to be quite difficult for them to break through that defensive line that This Is Fine has, that they're known to have. And so we do see the Nautilus just kind of holding their specials here. Unfortunately, Address the Gators is kind of clumping in this little area, being bombed out, not in a very good spot to push forward. It's just there's 15 seconds left. I'm not too sure if they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, this Maker's just in such an awkward spot right now. Sandfish tried to get a pick, is going to be trading out with Pampers, but the numbers advantage. Oh, the Maker is going to get taken down, though, but Jam going to be right here trying to just catch whoever's going to be running towards this Maker. We have about 10 seconds left of overtime. Jam finds a pick, going to get traded out, but yeah, Rainmaker re-grabbed. That is game 1 for This Is Fine.
Very strong showing from This Is Fine. I mean, their comp, they know how to play it. They're pretty much all one tricks, if I remember correctly, or at least they have a lot of one tricks under their belt. I know that Kale and Jam are one tricking their weapons, and so they know what works and they know how to make it work. And so, as you can see, they both have the 10-star badges.
Oh
and it's just a force to be reckoned with. I mean, with that amount of flexibility, I personally don't really like going up against ink brushes or glue guns, and so having to go up against 2 of them, it's scary.
Yeah, both those weapons individually are kind of like arcane wizardry to me. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't compute into my teeny tiny blaster brain, but yeah, them together, I don't know what I would do, to be quite honest. So I can definitely sympathize with Address the Gators there. That's not a fun position to be in.
I think we should bring out the Hydras.
Sure.
I don't know if that would help, but I think we should bring out the Hydras.
What's the new Hydra called again? It's like the...
You asked me as if I know.
You play it!
Yeah, but I just call it the new one.
Oh my god. It's the Splatoon 1 custom Hydra, but in 2025.
Yeah, that's what it's called. I'm sorry, I'm very much like the, I calls it what I calls it, I'm very type B, I'm not type A. I'm just kind of going with the flow.
we're just quite frankly here.
Like, yes, Splatoon is my special interest, but do I know everything about every single weapon in the game? No, not at all. Do I know everything about the weapons I like? Also, no.
It's the Torrent's Hydra Splatling, that's what it is.
Oh, okay, Torrent's Hydra Splatling, which is a really cool name. I should remember that for next time.
Yeah, I was like, I know it's like something to do with the fact that you like spin it a lot, or something like that. Very professional opinion, very professional diagnosis. I know.
Okay, Doctor Commentator. But we are going to be going to Clam's Crab like next up, and I do think that Thou on the Charger will probably shine here because I mean I think that This Is Fine had a very short range comp.
Yeah, this is one of those maps that kind of feels impossible to push on. However, there's an ink brush and a Gloogadooly on the side of This Is Fine, so
They'll make
we
it work.
might see a few breakaways here.
For sure, they will always make it work, but we'll see. I feel like this may be way more even footing here, and it looks like they're opting to not. Opting to go backless. Both teams are opting to go backless on this map mode.
I mean, it makes sense because once you're like scoring points, a backline doesn't super help like get them out of your spawn.
True.
But
I guess
like,
I'm just a little bit traumatized from pencils on the mid grades.
Yeah, I mean that's more of a thing in zones just because of how zones plays. And
True.
Kind of annoying. But yeah, and I mean we were talking about it, now This Is Fine kind of has the range advantage with the Nautilus and the Gloogadoolies. Jam is already going to be pushing up here on this right side, already going for this flank. Gonna get double suction out of there just a little bit, but just a lot of map control already being held by This Is Fine, and they have a lot of clam economy too.
They have a lot of clam economy, and they have a lot of specials under their belt as well. Jam is going to be able to get the trade out, getting a cheeky double here, and the Junior is going to try and make something happen. They are unable to score here, unfortunately, but This Is Fine is still on the front foot here, as they do have some very powerful positioning under their belt. The map is mostly pink. They're probably going to be able to make something happen eventually. They just kind of got to get their footing back. We do see Kirby being able to get a trade-off with Jam. It's just like picks are being plucked everywhere. They're 2 down on both sides, and it's just Clam Blitz neutral. I
mean, it is Blue Pikmin June, so it makes sense that picks are being plucked. But yeah, Pamper's going to be chilling here on this top mid grate with this Nautilus, trying to get some work done, trying to get some paint down, and just trying to stop the push. You know, we are in some good old-fashioned Clam Blitz neutral. You know it, you love it, you've seen it a million times. And we're just kind of waiting to see which team's going to break this stalemate first without, you know, exposing themselves too much to the consequences of their actions. But Kale is the one with his power clam. The path is going to be painted here, and Kale swims up, avoids the suction bomb, and is going to get the basket breaker to start things off.
I don't know how they avoided that suction bomb, but kudos to Kale. I think it's just the ink brush buff.
Maybe.
It didn't get buffed, but I feel like ink brushes have an inherent buff in their nature. That's like, I can be immune to a bunch of stuff.
They're just really swole.
Yeah. So we are seeing Pampers holding down the fort here in mid. They're trying to make something happen, trying to get some paint out, but they are going to be picked off by the Octobrush on the other team. Jam is here with the ball, and oh my goodness, it is Clam Blitz neutral once again.
Back like we never left. About half of this game's time has elapsed, and that power clam is just gonna... Okay, I thought it was gonna die in mid for no reason, but Kale was able to pick it up. Sandfish on this Octobrush is gonna be going through Zipcaster once again, trying to fight some picks, but again, not much really coming from it as a result. Slasher being popped, trying to clear the enemy ramp, but again, just This Is Fine, gonna restabilize, get control of the ramp again, and we are back to Clam Blitz neutral. But now, a lot of this map is painted cyan, so we could be seeing a push from Address the Gators mounting.
For sure. I feel like the Gators need to be addressed right now because they are in a pretty good shape, although they do just kind of keep getting trades. I feel like Kale's mobility, even if Address the Gators does have an advantage, Kale is just able to swim in quite quickly with that advantage. I just feel like Address the Gators haven't had the opportunity to get a lot of clam economy whatsoever in order to enforce that push. Pampers is pushing forward with 7 clams able to score whenever they want to, opting to fall back instead just to ensure that their life is safe. They are going to give Address the Gators another pity clam, but I feel like they didn't really pick up the first one.
Yeah, Pampers definitely could have gotten some more points on there, but I think they just thought they were too cool for that. And just opted to back off instead. So score is going to be still at 70. Still, we're not below that 60-point threshold. So the game is still open for Address the Gators to get the lead back. Should the dominoes fall in the right place, but just look at the clam economy at the top of the screen. All of it is in favor of This Is Fine. And yeah, that's another power clam being scored here by Pampers this time, and they're going to get some more points to go. Yeah, finally getting a substantial push here.
The mobility from This Is Fine is very astounding. And last up is Kale. They do go 3 down, but they do have a strong lead under their belt of 45. They are going to get a hefty penalty of 17 points that they are going to have to break through if they do score again. But, I mean, Address the Gators, they are going to have to farm a ton of clams in order to get a lead swap. They're going to have a very strong push here. We're just kind of waiting for that to happen. I feel like they have a lot of opportunities to make that happen, but it's just not the right place or the right time in order to make that happen. So hopefully, I mean, maybe with the time ticking down, they're going to have to shoehorn something.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of has to make something happen here, and looks like that is exactly what's going to be happening here. Address the Gators finally breaking this basket. Bao has 7 claims to throw in, get more points on the board, but that's... Oh, the power clamp going to be jumped in. This could be a lead switch here now if they make the throw.
Oh my god, no!
Oh, the spots are still here, the spots curving, but they're down 15 seconds to go. And I think that might just be too many resources being expended here. The Junior just runs right into the enemy's open arms here with that power clamp. But yeah, at this point, I don't think Overtime has a chance of activating it. There's no power claims built here for Address the Gators. Yeah, this is fine. Barely going to be taking that game number 2.
Absolutely tragic for Address the Gators. I feel like they definitely, if they were able to get that ball in, they could have possibly had a lead swap going for them. But unfortunately, I feel like just This Is Fine's barrage of ink was too much for them to handle.
Yeah, it was just a little bit too much, I think. It's just so hard. And, you know, you only get so many chances in this game. You really have to take the most advantage of every last one you get. And unfortunately, missing that power clamp throw in the last moments is not going to be doing that. Not to say that the entire game was in the hands of that one push, but you know, it's just you gotta take what you can get and run with it.
For sure. I mean, when I was watching the replay, it almost felt like the tacticooler blocked their shot a little bit. But then again, it could have been anything. I wasn't there in the moment. But I mean, regardless, we take it and move on. We are going to be moving on to Zones Ramen here in the final game. Once again, this is play all 3. Currently 2-0. This is Fine versus Address the Gators. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be any comp changes from the side of Address the Gators. I don't think they have like anything left to lose if they do try something new, or if they're gonna stick with what they know works.
Yeah, I mean, you can just you can get freaky with it. You can do whatever you want, get experimental. I mean, Zones Robo Ramen is a much different map mode compared to the first 2 we saw in the set, so you might see a bit more of a return to normalcy, so to speak. I think backlines are definitely going to be coming back after their absence of game number 2, but really, who's to say?
I mean, the speed at which This Is Fine plays, it makes it very difficult for backlines to kind of get set up, especially if you have a Booyah Bomb being thrown at you, an Ink Brush at your back, you have a Glooga Doolies just up in your face. It's pretty miserable to play against. So, I mean, kudos to Address the Gators for dealing with this comp.
I mean, yeah, we said it after game 1. This comp is not a fun one to fight. So... I definitely don't envy their position here, but unfortunately, the tournament gods willed this set to happen, and, you know, Address the Gators just trying to deal with it as best they can.
For sure. I mean, maybe they can bring it back in the final game and have it be a 2-1 situation. I feel like that is still a complete possibility because they did have that really strong push at the end of the Clan Blitz game. Maybe they'll be a bit more neutral in zones. We haven't actually seen them play zones map just yet. It's been Rainmaker and Clamp so far. So we are getting right into it. Game 3 of round 3. Yeah,
round 3, game 3. Is that the new Octobrush I see on that team? It is, with the Kraken. Interesting.
Is that the Comet Octobrush?
I think it's the Comet's brush.
Okay, I'm so smart. We aren't going to be seeing any comp changes from the side of This Is Fine. Like I said, that's pretty much their bread and butter comp. They know what they're playing. We are seeing the return of the ZNF Charger from Address the Gators. We know that worked. We do see 2 down from This Is Fine, allowing Address the Gators to quickly push in to the plat area from the elbow, and it is looking quite good for Address the Gators as they are getting the first push and points are ticking away.
Yeah, Address the Gators definitely off to a great start here. They have the strikes at the ready. They have Samfish chilling up there with the Kraken ready to pop whenever someone drops a little too hastily. Oh, but Sam going to be taken down, I think, before they can get their Kraken going. So, yeah, force to fall back a little bit here, but Address the Gators still has control of the zone. They still have the numbers advantage right now. They got the pick on the Kayla as well. Duke's going to be popped, but oh, now the contention is coming from This Is Fine, and that is going to be the zone swap.
For sure. This is fine was able to cancel out that Zuka quite quickly with the Nautilus there. And now that allows This is fine with their speed and with their paint prowess to take the elbow quite easily. We are going to need to be seeing some strikes and Zukas coming out from Address the Gators in order to retake their elbow area, which is what we're seeing right now. Hopefully they will be able to make a swap, but I don't think anybody is up there quick enough in order to make a swap on the zone just yet. So This is fine is still going to be trucking down in points, and they are going to be having a lead swap here.
Yeah, it's not enough to just throw strikes. You have to be there with the team, and the wipeout with 40 points to go. Honestly, no, this could be all that they need to get this knockout here. This is fine. You just have to set up for one final last stand for the set to get the 3-0 under their belts. And just with so little time left on the clock, I feel like if you're Address the Gators, you'd have to go with the super speed. I think they're seeing one of the flank. The Zuka's going to be popped. The Kraken's going to be popped as well, but neither has a ton of paint. Strikes, it's a last-ditch effort. It's going to be enough to flip the zone, though, and still picks are coming out. So we're going to be seeing Address the Gators staying alive in the set. Splash Kirby finds a huge double to keep them in the game.
Huge double from Splats Kirby indeed. We do see the junior player backing up in the elbow area, but unfortunately they do go down. This allows Address the Gators to give This is fine a very, very big penalty, and they are still in the game. They are not taking this sitting down. They are standing up, and they are putting Bao in a very good position. Unfortunately being displaced by the Whale and the Rain. That is, kind of a difficult thing to contest with when you are a backline. You kind of have to move out of that way. We are seeing a staggering situation for Address the Gators. Unfortunately, Splats Kirby is still alive and just trying to shark this out. But oh my gosh, go my sensor.
the most targeted point sensor of all time to just ruin the Octobrush's day. And to ruin that flank, Sandfish is going to be jumping back, popping the Kraken, but not able to find any fixes. It strikes, though, from this charger. Should be enough to flip the zone. Yeah, there we go. So, Address the Gators still showing signs of life here in the set. Octobrush going to be trading out with this Nautilus in that sneak area, but here comes Kale on this Ink Rush, chilling in the zone and trying to just find a way to break through the enemy formation once again, as they so often have.
For sure. I mean, Kale is just trying to kind of opting to take strange little off angles that they can't really be snuffed out at quickly. We are seeing Address the Gators back in control here. They are going to try and maybe get a lead swap happening if they're able to chew through their penalty, but I will say with the inclusion of the Rain and the Whale that they put together so frequently, and Pampers is able to have a Nautilus moment and take away the Octobrush right before they least expected it. Let's see if Pampers is able to clutch out this fight, but I'm not too sure. I will say that This is fine is back chewing through their penalty.
Yeah, about a minute 10 to go left on this final game here of this third set of Swiss of the stay, and already we're seeing This is fine setting up once again, trying to hold out this area for lockout. This is about where they were at the last time they had this chance, and with just 30 points to go, even less than that as the timer ticks away. This is fine, just trying to hold on for dear life. The bomb is able to find a pick. The strikes not enough to contest the zone on its own. Dow swimming forward, they have to find a pick here and now or get some sort of paint, but they're going to get taken down here. Splash Kirby drops down, is going to trade though, but it's just the burst. The delayed wipe is going to do it here. This is fine, gets the knockout and gets the set 3-0.
And that is all she wrote. This is fine is able to get this set 3-0 and take round 3 for themselves on the way home, all the way to round 4. I mean, very good showing from This is fine. I feel like they kind of showed what they're so good at. They're very good at lockout scenarios and just being very flexible and fast, and so it's quite difficult to contest with. But I will say, I mean, kudos to Address the Gators. They had very strong moments in their gameplay, and it was just like these tiny little things that unfortunately couldn't squeak them the win.
Yeah, I just wish we could have addressed them more in the set, but This is fine. Just was so incredibly strong in all 3 of those games. So kudos to Address the Gators. I commend the effort. I address the effort. But This is fine. Going to be walking away with this one with a 3-0 win. It's going to be 2-1 in sets for the day with 3 sets to go. But unfortunately, Nell and I will not be sticking around to cast those last 3 sets. I think we're going to have a comm switch pretty soon up here.
Indeed, we are going to be leaving quite soon, but I mean, we are going to have a comm switch so that you are going to be entertained for the next few rounds, the next 3 rounds of the day, and maybe I'll be able to find my phone once we get off of here.
Yeah, I could call you again if you want.
Maybe Pinky could call me again, and we can try and find my phone that's probably hidden underneath my clothes or something. It's somewhere.
But yeah, we're gonna have Keon and DRF take it home for day 1. But yeah, I mean, before we go, Nell, where can we find you?
You can find me at Blue Sky or twitch.tv at Nellfire with a 1. Where can we find you, Pinky?
You guys can find me at Blue Sky at brokenpinky.bsky.social as in the link that was posted beforehand during the stream. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us. Make sure to stick around for round 4 of Swiss. Peace.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round 4 of the June 2025 edition of Loink. How are we close to summer already in the Northern Hemisphere? My name is Kyon. I am.
What?
Yeah, I know. See, you can tell how far behind I am. By the way, my name is Kyon. I am joined by a good pal of mine. It's DRF. DRF, it's been a while. How are you doing?
Well, I am enjoying the great indoors on this first day of summer. I just need to get this straight because, like, I feel like this is just something that is never quite clear to me, and I feel like we change it every year. Is the first day of summer officially the 20th or the 21st?
I feel like it's the 21st.
I feel like it's the
I
21st
feel like
as
it.
well. I feel like it's the 21st, but I don't know. Like, I feel like every time like I turn on the local news, like it's different. It's either the 20th or the 21st. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's summer, and we have Low Ink ready to go, and we have Trident versus Downshift in this round 4 matchup. Looking at these teams, honestly, it's been a while since I've been in a Low Ink with you, Kyon, I guess, let alone a Low Ink in general. So, I've been trying to do my best to kind of, keep up with, who are the latest teams, jumping into Low Ink, who are some of the risers, who's on Pop Gun's cursed top 10 list. But these are two teams that, I recognize a number of the different players, but not familiar with the compositions of these players.
Yeah, so the good news is Downshift definitely recognize a few names. Shaded and IMADs particularly. They participated in Ludi season some eons ago at what feels like at this point. Trident's another established team that is still participating. Love to see what both these teams do. I know you're still catching up, but don't worry. Kids are kind of being thrown across the muck with the version 10.0.0 release, where they dropped like 30 new weapons on all of us. So. Don't worry, you're catching up the same way I am. Hagelfish Market Target Control is going to be coming up, which, by the way, we're going to be queued up right into it to start. Both teams, by the way, 1 and 2 to start to continue. So most likely the team not on the losing end will not be moving on the day 2. So both teams have a lot to play for. Downshift is on the purple side. The yellow side is going to be trying. And oh my goodness, there are a bunch of third kits. There's 4 of them.
Cool. Well, yeah, everyone, we're bringing out all sorts of different kits today. Really quite the experimental bunch here. As we've got the new Mini, the new Rapid Pro, the new Gal, the new Dreadringer. So certainly going to be an interesting set of weapons that we have here. But early on, it is going to be Downshift with the wipeout right away, Kyon. So they're off to a hot start, and Shaded just waiting patiently with that crab.
Yeah, Shaded's gonna just be waiting patiently with the crab. By the way, they got a double crab count because the third kid Dreadringer has a crab as well. So this is gonna be a fascinating matchup to watch, as Downshift's gonna be clearing that first checkpoint right away. So far, I'm not at all surprised by the third kit mini, which has that Zuka available. The Pro, by the way, has that cooler option that's ready for them. So that's what we see so far. I'm more mystified that the third kit 96 EIL, which we don't normally, which I feel like is a very pocket pick across the board. So it's gonna be interesting to watch. By the way, talking about third kits, anywho, Downshift is down to 40 points remaining and the tower resetting here, DRF.
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, that was a really good first push though out of Downshift. Following that wipeout, 40 points remaining, definitely a good spot to be in those early pushes. I think they could have gotten a few more points out of it, but now they're on the defensive end, seeing what they can do. Hammer going out for the quick flick, not going to find anything there, and this tower's going to hang out at the first checkpoint, not going to be able to make any progress from there, as our Carbon is going to see if they can make some noise. It's going to trade out. So we're back to a bit of a neutral game, Keon, but right now it's a 1 checkpoint lead for Downshift.
Yeah, Downshift with the 1 checkpoint lead, and I think this is going to give them some time to really start catching up and try to digest the 4 third kit weapons that we have right away. As I mentioned before, Dreadringer has that crab. They got a double crabs, by the way, firing from Downshift. The other side, which was Trident, they have double coolers, by the way, because both of the third weapons they have available, which is the 96 Gal. The Claws 96 Gal is the official name for some reason, and the Rapid Blaster Pro, that is the third kit. They also got a cooler as well, so they got double coolers versus double crabs. That's what we're seeing here right away from both teams. We got a lot of fighting happening so far as Sly Noober did go down. There is going to be Downshift riding this tower. They're going to try to see if they can push this one a little bit forward. Their left side is going to be Trident. They're focusing on that direction, but they did lose the Dread. And DRF, I mean, they are making the push happen, but it was only stalled for about a handful of moments.
Yeah, so, you know, kind of just, you know, matching a similar push to what they had in that opening minute. Not going to be able to make any further progress here, but that's okay for them right now. They're back on the defense side. They're going to find 2 quick picks, actually. That's going to come up pretty big. So we're going to end up seeing Trident retreating, and this tower is back on the road, following this trail all the way through that first checkpoint marker. The double crab on the tower! Call it double trouble! As Kai and Shaded combined for 3 picks here. Oh, huge, but there it is! I think that was 4 combined between those 2 players. They've somehow got surprised they survived the surprise attack from the Carbon. And now they're looking to knock this one out, Keon. Wow!
DRF, I think that was just purely diabolical just to watch Double Crab planted in the tower. Tower's like, alright, I guess they waited for the right time to just pop both the crabs in and then just fire it from range. Also, shoutouts to Kai, I believe, who got a triple as well with their own crab, and then got the splat on the remaining player for Trident, who tried to stop the tower. That was kind of crazy, ridiculously diabolical. That's all I can say. I mean, these third kits are kind of running ridiculous, and I know, DRF, I think we're both kind of coming in a little cold here. I don't think I was expecting the amount of nonsense both teams were dishing out weapons-wise across the board.
Yeah, they definitely had some interesting choices, you know, from either side. You know, we had like the double cooler on the side of Trident. Or sorry, was it double cooler? No.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
It was double cooler on Trident.
Yeah, so there was a couple of, you know, interesting mishmash of weapons, but I agree, like, diabolical, I think, is a very adequate term to describe that double crab action on the tower that ultimately just signed, sealed, and delivered this game for Downshift. And I kind of want to see it again. That was hot, not gonna lie.
That was kind of beautiful. That was still nuts. I don't know if we'll get to see it again in Scorch Gorge Rainmaker. I know you and I have personal memories with this map mode combination. I'm a little... I have a feeling that might be a Hangover Market Target Control map, but also, I mean, at this point, they're dishing out new weapons right away in Game 1. I mean, anything just goes at this point. That's all I guess I could say. So I'm more excited to see what weapons both teams are dishing out. For Downshift, up 1-0 in this play all 3. That is a good start for them. They want to try to start racking up some wins just so they can make a bracket in day 2. I mean, DRF, I'm more excited to see what weapons anyway he's going to be dishing out with, which teams are going to disappoint us and not throw out a third kit in this map, probably.
Yeah, having 4 of these third kits in this lobby is a great indicator that there is going to be a lot of flexibility in the compositions from these 2 teams, especially because I don't think anyone is quite married to a specific kit yet. As we dive into this one, of course, I say that and nobody is going to change anything, it seems like.
Well, I guess they're just gonna stick with what's working decently well for them. By the way, IMAD is gonna be going to that Hero Shot Replica, which I don't think I saw last time, but I could also be very well mistaken. But yeah, so I guess the name of the game right now for Trident, see if we can go fast with double coolers, and for Downshift, I guess let's just play with double crab. I think is what we're seeing here out of Scorch towards Rainmaker. I feel that's gonna be the mantra for both these teams involved. Shaded Battle is gonna pick up this Rainmaker. That's by the way 2 members that has dropped. By the on side of Trident, all from 1 player. That is the quickest checkpoint I think we've seen in a while, about 32 seconds in. And DRF, they're already breaking through. They might be getting for a lot of points here.
And it is actually a double Zuka that Trident's running, not the double cooler. There is a cooler on either side, though, as I had to just quickly confirm that. But Shaden's going to run this one down, and they're going to be able to stay alive somehow, finally turn the corner, 17 points remaining, 2 people down, a phenomenal push in the opening minute. Lumen going to have to hang back, trying to ink up mid as much as possible, and trying to be that first line of defense in a potential response here from Trident.
You know, it's funny because you mentioned double cooler. The reason why I got so fixated on that was the fact that the 2 third kit weapons, by the way, had coolers, but there was 1 on both sides. So you're absolutely correct. I'll take the L on the weapon notes there. But that push all the way down to 17 points remain. In Scorch Gorge, Rainmaker is almost game winning, but there's so much time left on the clock, so Trident has some time to work with there. The Zuka at least should slow down Downshift for a bit, but I mean, DRF, that's what? A Zuka, you got 2 crabs, and then the cooler option. This is just going to be a team that's just going to try to destroy you from range, and Trident's having a hard time trying to respond to it as they drop 3 right away, and now the Rainmakers are getting picked up by Downshift.
Yeah, and a couple of risky jumps coming in here. Trident's gonna actually stay alive. Now try to dive a little bit onto this Rainmaker. They do have the numbers advantage right now, and it looks like it's gonna be Downshift completely surrounded. Gonna take out those 2 members that were leading the push. So Shaded backing up now, and this could be the first look for Trident to pick up this Rainmaker and get some points on the board.
I mean, they got 3 specials, which I take that back. They got 2 specials now. They lost the Carbon Roller with that Zuka. They could have loved to use that in that push if they wanted to, but they're going to have to rebuild it back up here. But this Rainmaker, this push is going really aggressive. They're actually only having 2 members up, and they're just surrounded by Downshift across the board. The Zukas were being fired, but it's just a little too late on that attempt, so they only get it down to just the 60-point range, but not the first checkpoint at all. So Trident, they just got to get themselves recollected here, see if they can see what they can use. Zuka is available, but they're also going to have to look out for members of Downshift with their comp of all sorts as they lose 3. So Trident's going to have to just reset. Downshift's just playing on another level right now here, DRF.
And I like that Downshift just decided to let the Rainmaker reset. They definitely had an opportunity there to start being aggressive with it. But they just said, hey, we're in a really good position right now. We've had full control of this game for 3 minutes and change that this has been going on. Let's just keep the tempo going. We don't need to make any plays with the Rainmaker. And they're still taking their time, grabbing it, finally going to do so now and take it over the Greats. Starting to put a lot more pressure back on Trident. But the numbers are still in their favor here, Kyo. But look at this patience. They know that they don't need to knock this out because this is Scorch Gorge. You're not going to get the knockout very easily. Let's just keep the Rainmaker in a very aggressive, hard to counter position. And they're hoping to ride this one out, Kyo.
That's exactly correct. Their Downshift with such a great lead and just putting this Rainmaker in such a tough spot for trying to respond is just fantastic overall. As it looks like they are picking this one up. Now, the timers are a bit synced here, so they are going to go down, so that should... to the Zuka, so Downshift losing 3, but they put this Rainmaker in a rough position for Trident because they're going to have to just wrestle this one all the way back and get everything set up for this offensive push. But you need to take advantage of the 3 down that you just dished out the Downshift. You also got to find a way to get to the first checkpoint, which they have a Zuka that's ready to go. The Rainmaker pickup, by the way, is going to be on the cooler. User, I believe, that had it. Offie's picking it up, and they are going to have to take the slower path forward. DRF about 20 seconds left to go. The first member down. That's the first checkpoint for Trident. Well,
we may have spoken too soon, Keon, but okay, I may have spoken too soon on the too soon. As they are now going to find themselves 3 down. The jumps are coming in, trying to keep this push alive. it doesn't seem like it's going to be in the cards here for Trident, as the timer will expire and Downshift will ultimately take the set with their second victory.
Yeah, second victory on the board, a 2-0 lead here. Now they're going to just play all three. I like to personally call it the salvage game, basically, for Trident. At least try to end this off on a good note if it matters for tiebreakers at the end of the road. But Downshift up 2-2 record-wise. 1-3 is going to be the record here for Trident by the end of things. And, I mean, DRF, I think it was just total domination from Downshift from minute one. I don't know. I know the two crabs, but still living rent-free in my mind from the first game happened here. But this was just more Downshift playing tremendously well as a unit. You noted before the patience they had when that Rainmaker was in Trident's base there. I mean, Downshift just played that spectacularly well.
They did. They had full control of the pace of that game from the opening second to pretty much the last 30 seconds, where they, ultimately had to let off a little bit. But they set the pace. Whenever they said, hey, this game, we're going to start moving fast, everybody had to move fast. Whenever they decided to slow it down, we just did not see Trident find that opportunity to break through. They always had to play at the pace that Downshift had set. And when you are able to have such command of a match like that, you're going places. So Downshift, kudos to you. Great control there in game number 2. Let's see what goes on into game number 3. Clamblets, Barnacle, and Dime on deck.
Yeah, Barnacle and Dime Clamblets. Supposed to be Barnacle and Clams there, which I guess is still correct in some form or fashion. But I mean, for Barnacle and Dime Clamblets, this is almost a great map if you're gonna run it back with the same weapons for Downshift. Now, Double Zookas should, in theory, work for Trident, but they gotta figure out who to target first. I feel like there's a handful of members that's just been a menace here from Downshift. There you got Shaded, Bloomin, and Kai, especially those three making work happen. Imad's also there to help set the tone. So I mean, for Trident, if you're gonna try to at least salvage this one, make it a 2-1 in your favor, you gotta figure out who to target from Downshift. I got my eyes basically on the two crab users, basically. So I mean, for Trident, just try to see if you can end this one off on a high note.
Absolutely. So every game matters. That's the beauty of these play all threes. But let's jump on in, folks, to game number 3 of this round 4 matchup. Looks like the compositions are mostly staying the same. We do have one new addition coming in from Imad.
Imad with the glamour splatter shot. If you've listened to me on the Splat chat earlier this week, I noted that you're gonna expect to see a glamour splatter shot somewhere in low ink. I know the sample size is really high here, but Imad dishing out that new shot. Already to make it a triple from Imad. No way! Can you get the quad? No. Yes, Imad gets the quad with the splatter shot, and that opens the door. We're gonna ignore the clam toss being a bit off there. Imad's using the Kraken. That's the 5th member that drops all from 1 life. Bloomin cashes this one home with the power clam and the barrier broken. Oh my goodness, what a start from Imad though, DRF.
Imad said, I saw you all having some fun. I want to get in on it too. And opens this game with a 5-piece. I mean, Barnacle and Dime, like, having some big sales here with the way that Imad was able to steal this opening minute away from everybody else. I'm thoroughly impressed there. And with that opening push, we did get, down below that 60-point threshold. Perfect spot to sort of be on an opening push in the first minute. Now it's an opportunity, though, for Trident to respond. And with that first pick on Imad, that's going to help, especially with what we just saw from them. Trying to get rid of that shot.
So the 3 members I mentioned who you may want to focus on, I guess it doesn't introduce themselves to be the 4th on that one. And that wasn't even mainly any parts of the kit, I guess, other than the bomb that was also tossed there too. That was just pure textbook play from Imad with the flank. And of course, now that woke up Trident just a bit, Trident's been trying to do their best to shut down IMAD in every corner, so does the follow-up with the rest of the team with that delayed 3 down. Trident, okay, if there's anything that Trident has going for them, it's at least just the 41 points cashed in. It could have been so much worse. The missed plant toss from earlier, the small little blooper was a little unfortunate because that lead could have expanded a little bit higher. So, but for Trident, that might give them a chance to strike, but they may have to just wait a little bit longer. They lose 2, they're going to have to reset here, DRF.
Absolutely. And they do have a little bit of control here in mid. The Carbon, hoping to find some value, is going to ultimately trade out as well. I would definitely love to see that Carbon, get in the action a little bit more. I think they're doing a great job of, finding a couple of good picks, but just haven't been able to go on quite the rampage that I think they're hoping for. But now with the basket open for Trident, could be a good opportunity, but no, they're going to go 3 down and just 1 clam shy of tying up this game, 2 away from that lead. So they're going to have to settle for the 62 points for now, but Kyon, that puts them right in striking distance. A 1+1 would get them the lead.
The 1+1 gain the lead, that is going to be the key here for Trident. I mean, again, that push from the initial push from Downshift could have been so much worse, but because it was just that 41 points cashed in, that gave Trident a lot more room to work for. And with that push where they were able to eliminate multiple members of Downshift, it's the only reason why this game is so close as it stands. The highlight play from IMAD was awesome, but from IMAD is awesome, but now Downshift needs to work as a team here cohesively to see if they can get another push started. Maybe that wipeout could help answer things, as they are going to be able to claim a lot of Barnacle and Dimes paint here. So DRF, this looks like this could be time for Downshift to make a push forward.
Yes, and the Wiper going to be trying to make an aggressive defensive stand there. Gonna get called out for it, but that might have just stalled Downshift enough from making a play. But of course, as I say that, they're gonna dive on in. They find 1 power clamp, not able to find the second. That's gonna be the second missed throw from Downshift. No points added to the board, notably. Ooh. So this puts Trident in a very interesting spot here. They have the free pity clam now to work with. It looks like they're ultimately going to pick this one up a little early though. So 45 seconds, power clam in tow. They need to win this team fight in mid, and this could open up a door for them to try to steal this game, but they have to win this next team fight.
They absolutely have to win the next team fight here, because Downshift with their double crab composition is just going to strangle Trident way back at their base, and this actually is going to open up a potentially bigger lead if they're able to get this power clamp thrown in time, which they just barely do. Hits the bottom part of the basket, and that is going to leave the basket open. So now the lead is going to expand a tiny bit more. With about a couple more seconds, are they able to take this one home? With that basket closing here soon? The answer is just not enough time. Actually, it will be. The game shows. Oh my goodness, that's the first time I've seen that ending happen. And yeah, that's Downshift with the 3-0. And my goodness, DRF got a little scary for Downshift, but they were able to take it home at the end.
I was holding my breath on that last push, because I was noticing at the time, I'm like, is there enough time? Is that clam going to spawn in time to give Trident the opportunity? And the answer is no, as that was just perfect timing out of Downshift. They piled in the extra 2 clams to extend the timer, frame perfectly to close as the game ended, so that there was no power clam spawn and no overtime as a result.
That's the first time I think I've seen that kind of frame perfect ending. Now, I did remember that mechanic where if you had the lead, and the basket's open, the game basically ends. But I didn't even realize it. I didn't realize when that basket opened, the timer being down. I thought that was like, all right, that might be enough to guaranteed OT. But no, you're right. It is just on the power clam spawn. So, I mean, Downshift played all 3 maps spectacularly well. Last one got a little bit iffy, but I feel like that was all right for them, especially with Ima getting that 5 piece that we saw earlier. So that was a lot of good work here from Downshift, and it feels like it adds a little bit of and it keeps Downshift alive here to try to fight for Gamma Bracket, potentially Beta with the 2-2 record. So that's a great start for them, as we get to see a lot of sets here from Group B trying to make its way to the finish line.
Yes, so 2-2 puts them back into position to fight for day 2. So excited to see, especially with how Downshift played in that last set. See if they can carry some of that momentum going into round 5, round 6, because they really found something special there in that set, I think. They had a couple of big signature moments, being able to pop that double crab on the tower, really commanding the pace in game number 2. And then game number 3, definitely a lot closer of a matchup, but I thought that all the team fights that they took always pretty much ended up in their favor. They fought that spectacularly. So excited to see where both those teams go. But Downshift definitely on an upward trend following this round.
That double crab and the tower is gonna live rent free for maybe a couple of hours at that point.
I need a crab rave edit of that.
Oh goodness, yeah, noted there. So that helps set the stage for them in Group B. Of course, Group A was also happening. There's only one set actually left pending. Oh my goodness, Inky actually has, I think, the replay of what we're talking about. For those who are just tuning in, my shout outs to you, Inky. Double crab from Shane and Kai. Okay, there is a lot of crab dancing there at the tower. I still also can't believe that they actually made that work as well as it did too. So thank you so much for that one, Inky. You're the GOAT for that.
The pick on the carbon too is what really puts the cherry on top of that. Because I thought that, like, I was surprised by the carbon, and they managed to completely, just flick their way right over onto the carbon and get that pick. Again, chef's kiss moment. As the scoreboard Inky put up here, you can see that most of the games here starting to wrap up. A good mix of 2-1s and 3-0s. So starting to set the stage for what's to come in this next round.
Yeah, now we're gonna get round 5, but we're gonna have to wait for the rest of the rounds to wrap up. DRF, it feels like it's been a while since we've seen each other in Low Ink. I think you've noted that before. I feel like it's been like almost a year plus. It feels like, but I'm always happy to work with you. But how are you feeling now that third kids decided to just throw a wrench into everything, for the most part?
See, I don't really care about anybody's third kit except for mine. I'm selfish like that.
That's fair.
So, we look at, like, the third Tri-Slosher in general, and I'm like, It's got potential, but unfortunately I play for TZS and I will never get to use it. So, it is what it is. Maybe at a LAN or something, but I don't know. Regardless, all the third kits I think have been really interesting, and we got a really good look at it in that round 4 set of what those third kits can do. So I'm excited to see what third kits will continue to kind of shift the meta a little bit in hopefully a good way. And that's one reason I love Low Ink, is because you really get to see just people cooking. Just to put it simply, like, people are gonna cook. They're gonna experiment. They're gonna play with all sorts of weapons, especially with such a big weapon drop like we just had. Like, anything is fair game.
So I'm on the same boat as you. So I have 2 primary weapons whenever I play a lot of Anarchy. Tri-Slosher, which just made me so sad because it's gonna barely see the light of day for the most part. Splattershot makes me a little happy for the as well. My third weapon of all specifics is the Junior Knife, which I don't think even got the third kit if I recall from the patch. So hey, at least I got a shot weapon to try out. But I'm that Tri-Slosher. I wish I could play it in a competitive setting if both teams were okay with it. My team included down the road, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it really feels like they prioritized actually the weapons that didn't get a third kit in Splatoon 2. Because, like, for example, like, Tri-Slosher got one, but, like, Junior didn't. So, like, I don't know if the Hydra got one in Splatoon 2, but it did here. So, like, it seems like that they really try to prioritize the weapons that kind of got snubbed in the last game, which I think was really cool. For the developers to do. Obviously, Shot's gonna get a third kit. They're gonna get 4th kits, 5th kits, 6th kits. I mean,
probably.
So when weapons like that, it is what it is.
You know, you're also to touch upon something from earlier to DRF is the fact that Low Ink itself has been in my personal opinion, that also has been a great place to just see what teams from that level are cooking up strategy-wise. It feels you get a whole variety and more diverse set of strats. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it feels like part of an old strategy with Kraken jumps came from that level, but someone's gonna correct me on that, I swear. But that's a different story. Ultimately, the story here is, you know, I've seen a lot of variety of third kits being used by everybody across the board. I think earlier in Low Ink today, I saw the dualies as well making an appearance. So everybody's just gonna try out something, which makes me happy. I know for us watching the third kits, like, oh great, now I gotta open up the page or the dictionary of weapons. I gotta keep remembering, because like, y'all are making this harder for my puny brain to remember down the road.
Yeah, certainly. And you know, and that's why I love the first series of tournaments right after a big update, because people are still trying to figure out, what does this all mean? What does this mean for the meta? What does this mean for our weapon compositions, especially with such a big collection of weapon drops? 30 weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I really want to emphasize that we just got 30 new weapons in the game. So that's the insane part of this. And again, it's just give folks a bunch of ingredients and let them cook, and let's see what happens. And that's exactly what we're getting in all of these different tournaments. I mean, even at the top level side of things, you know, there's like, we talked about how, like, the tri-slosher with the screen, you know, is probably not going to get to see a lot of competitive play, but it really feels like that the conversation on top level side of things is really focused on trying to make it work somehow, because they like the kit so much and they think that there's so much potential. So now that it kind of has shifted the conversation in a rather interesting way about, okay, you know, yes, screen is a problem. What else can we do about it? Because we want to play this kit.
Oh, for certain. And hey, because of this kit drop, it's probably gonna be a handful of weeks for everybody to get themselves all sorted. This is just my read is this is still the experimental phase for all levels involved. Which, by the way, we got our next matchup coming up here, DRF, to put the awkward transition into things. Honorbound and Reignfall, by the way, is gonna be the one coming up next here out of Group A. I definitely recognize both these teams, Honorbound and Reignfall, especially here out of low level. Good to see these two teams participating this weekend's Low Ink. Both teams, by the way, 3-1 record from what I see out of Group A. So win here puts you a step closer to Alpha. Loss, you're going to have to likely be fighting for a tiebreaker if you end up winning your 6th round if you want to make Alpha. Otherwise, likely entering that beta side. So that's what both teams have in mind. Now we got Umami Ruin Zones to be the leadoff. I think both teams are just ready to go here soon, DRF. So I'm actually kind of excited to see if both teams even want to dish out any new weapons, basically.
And that's just going to continue to be the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
This weekend's Low Ink is, you know, what has been added to the arsenal of all these teams, especially two teams with a rather storied history like Honorbound and Reignfall, who have made a lot of noise in the past year. So this should be a pretty fun matchup here between these two. That I'm sure that they have played each other time and time again. I'm sure that they might even have a general idea of how they stack up against each other. But both coming into this as 3-1, like you said, Keon, is going to certainly add to the stakes. If becoming 4-1 sets you up beautifully for Alpha. And even then, if you are 4-1 and ultimately drop that round 6 matchup, it's still going to put you in a favorable position for those tiebreakers. But nonetheless, these teams are ready to roll. So let's jump on into game number 1, Splat Zone's Umami Ruins. And Keon, I will let you gush about what weapons we are bringing out here.
Well, there's only one, sadly. There's only one third kid. But don't worry, Warriors got you covered here. Now we can take things a step behind. Now we're back to familiar territory. That's the Rapid Blaster Pro's third kit, making its appearance. The Winter is the official name according to certain circles, with that cooler being available. But these are weapons I think we're going to be intrigued to see. That's a vanilla heavy Splat Link, if I'm not mistaken, which I don't feel like I've seen that a lot overall, as Catboy's going to drop right as I noted the weapons. So, I mean, this is kind of an interesting mishmash of weapons. All something new. Gonna be excited to see how both teams play. It's gonna be a bit of a brawl to start though. Looks like Reignfall should be gaining the cap of the zone here soon, as long as they clean up some of the members here out of Honor Bound.
I think the funny part of this is that as you look at Reignfall's composition, with how colorful the third kits have been, you look at Reignfall's composition, you're like, damn, this is the most like grayscale, like monocolored composition. But you know, it's the aesthetics don't matter. It's the kits and everything else that come into play, and they like what these kits are bringing out. That Dreadringer gonna bring out some exciting Reef Slider action, as we saw right there, but wasn't able to find any value. But it does scatter a couple of the members of Honor Bound just enough to hold on to these zones a little longer. So 43 points is what this opening push is going to be for Reignfall.
Yeah, as Reignfall is able to take that one home through. Which, by the way, it's all of the monochrome weapons here out of Reignfall is kind of intriguing to see. But I also got a variety of different weapons that I feel like would work very well together there. You also have Honor Bound, which by the way they got double crab, just more weapons we're used to kind of seeing here. So like to see what Honor Bound does with their version of double crab here. A lot more skirmishy close range weapons. They take 2 members, by the way, out of Reignfall here. This is gonna be the cap of the zone, both zones for that matter here. Reignfall is gonna have to slowly retreat. Honor Bound actually has a good control of the zone. This could be a potential lead change here. It should definitely be a lead change. They lose 1, so that's gonna be the lead change here for Honor Bound, DRF.
Yeah, a fantastic counter push from Honor Bound gets them the lead as we approach the halfway mark in this game. It is a very high scoring affair between these two at this stage, as now DHVF running it down, able to find a pick. And finally, it will be an opportunity to flip the zone back in Reignfall's favor. So they stop it right at a good time there. So didn't let the lead get completely out of control, Keon. And now we're going to be seeing a little bit of skirmishing here on just past the zones on the Honor Bound side of the map.
Yeah, just a little bit of extra skirmishing here. You got the craft tank that was used to pressure everybody out, but that's all it's going to be there, just to buy themselves some time. This is actually a really fun back and forth that we're seeing from both teams right away too. Both crab weapons going down. They also lose the pro on top of it. This is going to be a delayed wipe officially. Reignfall will get the lead back in their favor. Now they're just trying to see if they can hold the line just a little bit more, trying to zone them up with the Zuka that is being fired from distance. They're going to have to play their distance here because they know they got the double crab and also the Booyah Bomb on top that was just thrown. But DRF, that's the response is going to be much slower. I don't think they're going to have enough paint to go towards the zone. They neutralized it for just 1 moment, and they're hanging it on for dear life. The Reef Slider, I think, was just going to inevitably get the cap anyway, and that is going to be the KO for Reignfall to kick things off.
Yeah, the Reef Slider there for insurance. Just wanted to really make sure that they had that zone. But a great back and forth game in game number 1. Very high scoring. I mean, we had some big runs there. I felt like I was watching a modern NBA game with that one.
Yeah, I mean, the back and forth game of runs. I'm sure anybody watching the NBA Finals, you know who you are out there, would love to see those kind of games, although nervously wanting to wait for their team to get the dub. So this is, I mean, I hope this game 1 kind of sets the pace for how the rest of this set plays out, because that was a very fun back and forth. Obviously, we're gonna have to be doing with different map modes here from both Honor Bound and from this set rather. Both Honor Bound and Reignfall are gonna have to make some adjustments, I'd imagine. But wow, that was really close. It really did come down to who got the zones last. Ultimately, at the end of it, I got the idea of the vision with the double crab and the Booyah, but just not able to get that materialized in time. So now we go to ship shape cargo code tower control. I wouldn't be shocked if we see double crab here again from Honor Bound, DRF.
It certainly would work, especially, you know, just the way that the tower path sort of moves and being in kind of open space between the 2 checkpoints. You know, the double crab could certainly, you know, be something to look out for to bring into this game. So I would, you know, personally love to see it. At this point, I think Keon and I are just double crab on tower enjoyers. we have been converted, and we just need more of it.
Yeah, we just need more, which means we will not see one, and that will just give us a breath of fresh air. Which means we get a breath of fresh air. We get to see some variety, and I'm actually intrigued to see what Honor Bound does. I think this is probably I think the 4M0 dish now is not a bad setup at all for tower control, especially with that double crab and the Booyah Bomb that they had from the Forge Pro. But I imagine they just gotta clean things up a bit. I guess with the back and forth, I feel like they could go either way. But DRF here and shift or tower control, the game. After the first checkpoint, things can snowball in a hurry. Honestly, I think just voting, I'm gonna be intrigued to see what both teams push out.
Absolutely, as these teams are ready to roll. So let's go ahead and jump on in to game number 2, tower control on ship shape. Taking a look at the compositions as everybody sort of spawns in here, we're going to see the run back there from Reignfall and Honorbound, I believe. Same exact, so I think we're seeing the exact same thing. So double crab indeed. We got it, Killed. We got it.
we got double crab. It's gonna live rent free in our heads for two straight rounds here. Gonna be excited to see how both teams open things up. Of course, since we are running back with the same weapon, it's gonna come down to the opening push for sure. Looks like Reignfall is just gonna stick with what they know so far. Clear being farmed right away. You got basically both teams almost the same story as the first map here, DRF. Neutral battle so far. Both teams not able to get control. The double crab, by the way, was popped, but ultimately using it to take control of territory here. But it looks like with this 1v1, but this is actually a retreat here from Honorbound. Reignfall got control, and they should be able to get past the first checkpoint here. Shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Yeah, and we're going to see that Splatling dance around the tower, trying to clear the checkpoint. Not going to be able to do so. A huge save there by Honorbound to prevent that checkpoint from being cleared. So now Honorbound's going to be able to pick up this tower and start making progress towards their first checkpoint. Nathan going to hold on to that Booyah Bomb for as long as possible, waiting for that tower to get into position. And Pieman's crab going to expire there. I think they might have just pulled the crab out a smidge early, but now they're going to just try the same thing. Dance around this tower, try to force the clearing of this checkpoint. Not going to be able to do so quite yet, and 2 members go down. This tower is going to retreat, and both teams fall short of clearing the first checkpoint, Keon.
Now, I'm trying to remember the last time I see both teams try to go for pushes of their own, only to fall short of clearing the first checkpoint on the get-go, because usually that checkpoint pretty decently easy to clear, but in the sense of Reignfall, they have to deal with double crab and a Booyah Bomb that could be thrown in that direction, so that's a lot of range you're gonna have to deal with. And Reignfall was just able to get the stops with the lone Zuka in tow, so they're gonna have to look for the second attempt at the stop, which they're able to get 2 or 3 down, but they leave somebody on the tower. They got pressured out by Catboy, but Catboy is gonna have to slowly retreat, so they're not gonna be able to take advantage of this snowballing push quite yet. Yes, your first checkpoint is cleared there, but that's still not at all a safe lead, especially with 2 members down. Honorbound still has a chance to strike here, DRF.
I love that Reignfall, how they positioned themselves around that first checkpoint. They left the Splatling on the tower and were able to send everybody else out around to pick fights to just waste enough time. And that's exactly what Honorbound is doing here in return. It's a matter of keeping your members alive. Even if they don't ultimately win the fight, they need to be in a position that just keeps the enemy team away from that tower so that it can safely navigate through those checkpoints and start making progress. Honorbound now gets the lead back here as we see our 3rd lead swap of the game. 2 minutes left, and it seems like Honorbound's in a really good position, Keon, to really extend this lead now.
They're in a fantastic position, able to just clear everybody out from Reignfall right away. The Booyah Bomb could be thrown right into the tower, but with no support left, they just have to throw it and get a pick nevertheless, which is still great use of that Booyah Bomb. It got value at the end, and now everybody's slowly retreating here. This is a really good run so far for Honorbound with that push leading into the second checkpoint. Reignfall has a chance to strike back with their own, but they are getting slowly pressured back. Keep an eye out on the specials that will pop up if when Honorbound, gets those crabs online and the Booyah Bomb online. But for Reignfall, I mean, the big thing they got going for them is they are able to win out the fights when they need to. As soon as they say that, though, they get the delayed 4. They won some of their initial fights there. Honorbound looks like they got some good control of the map and a good control of this game so far here, DRF.
Yeah, everything is going their way now with 1 minute to play. The crab from the dualies at the ready. The Splash trying to get their crab at the ready. We could see some double crab action here in just a moment if Warrior can live through this sorry, not Warrior, Pie Man, I believe, is the one on the splash. So first crab gonna get popped. But the Reef Slider's gonna come out and try to take someone down. It's gonna be a trade instead. 3v3. This tower is in a fairly aggressive position for Honorbound to try to just keep this push going, try to keep this tower on the opposition side of the map. 30 seconds to play, and now finally forced to back up just a little bit despite the numbers advantage. It seems like Reignfall is getting in a position, they're poised now to try to make this last ditch effort push.
Pay attention to the specials right now from Reignfall. They don't have much left. They just lost a shot, so that's going to be a long time for the Zuka to be available. Tao gets the pick onto Inoki. That's the third member that drops. This should be GG. Their Pieman gets the wrap up onto DHBF by rolling them over on this one. That's going to be that, and DRF. Yeah, I hope you like a good old Game 3 to help determine where they stand record-wise here in Low Ink, as that's going to be Honorbound. They take this one home. 1-1 tie coming into Game 3, and it kind of was the whole back and forth to start, and it looked like Honorbound finally got control when they needed it.
Yes, they certainly did. I mean, a very exciting first 3 minutes of that game, as we had seen about 3 different lead swaps. Again, a game of runs where we saw, 30 points scored by the first team. The other team responds with 35 points, swing it back. You get another, 20 points added on, and then swing it back. You get another 30 points added on. So a very good game of runs there from both of these teams. Honorbound eventually just on their last push really managed to capitalize on a little bit more the range that they had from their specials, able to just push around the members of Reignfall and kind of put them into positions where they can just pick them off pretty easily and get them in a bit of a stagger. I thought that that's what really made them successful there in the closing 2 minutes, and it just left little to no time for Reignfall to respond. They just could never get out of that stagger.
Definitely, and while Game 3 being the Crab Lake Rainmaker game coming up here, you're right on the money. I felt like Reignfall was just trying to find any chance to get control of the map back in their favor, but they just weren't able to, just getting collapsed on by Honorbound with the way they're able to handle the skirmishes. So it just kind of put Reignfall about a step back of what Honorbound is doing. And well, hey, for Reignfall, they got one more chance here to still get the set when they need, but for Honorbound, they're gonna feel great coming into this Game 3 here in Crab Lake Capital Rainmaker. Again, win it basically puts you in good spot for Alpha. Lost, you're not quite out of the woods yet, but you do need to win that round 6 once your opponent gets rolled to see if you can make it to Alpha. So, I mean, both teams I'd imagine have a lot. Will probably dish out everything that they could to keep themselves on pace. And I'm sure, DRF, I wouldn't be surprised if both teams decide to go on a game of runs here, even on Rainmaker of all modes.
Yo, I don't know if you're thinking what I'm thinking.
No.
But I have some very high expectations for this game.
Oh no. Yeah, I think I might be having the same thought as you do. If I assume this is what our history has together with anything attached to Rainmaker. I think that's
a Game 3 situation where it's winner take all for the set. Let's see what these teams bring out, and what are we gonna be working with here? It looks like it's gonna be more of the same. So everybody's comfortable with what they're playing. So I'm excited to see where this one goes. I think that these compositions actually work really well for this map mode. I think that the double crab is going to work very well on these grates, so be able to look out for that. The reef slider is a great way to be really aggressive on what is otherwise, a very slow to navigate, grate section that dominates the Rainmaker path here. Of course, Warrior's going to take it to the opposite side of where those grates are, but the reef slider will take care of them. So, very, big bloodbath here to start out in this game. Neither team really getting any sort of dominant control of this map yet, Kyon. So I'm curious to see who's going to be able to make that first notable strike.
Yeah, this is exactly how it all feels like it's all playing out the same way it did before, except this time DHBF does get the checkpoint in their favor here, as it looks like the defense not quite set from Honorbound. Now DHBF picks up the Rainmaker. He adds a couple more points on the board, but they're getting surrounded by all of the range on the board because, of course, it was the Crab Tank that gets the pick onto DHBF. It is going to be the wipeout officially. This should be the first checkpoint swung the other direction. Both teams going for the right side. Great here. Nathan throwing the buoy bomb to absolutely protect this push, but it is just a bit off time because I think there was some pressure from the lower ground here that forced Warrior back. So the buoy bomb not taken advantage of, and this is going to be a little bit of patient play here for Honorbound until the numbers will work out in their favor here, DRF.
Well, there's that slight numbers advantage that they were looking for, and nobody quite in range to take care of this Rainmaker, so they're going to have to just inch forward now, especially with that pick now on Demon. That's going to open the door now for Honorbound to claim the first checkpoint. So they will get the pop. It looks like they're going to go for a little bit of a tush push here to just push it over the line. And that's going to be 45 points. That's the lead, but it's not a very commanding one. So it's still anybody's game. 3 minutes to go in this one.
How many of you heard this one before, DRF? It's been a game of runs, to say the least. It has been a game of runs. It's still very much a game of runs. Even in Rainmaker of all modes, both teams still can't get the breakaway push that they need to get that strong lead. And again, it feels like it's just a testament to how equally matched both teams are genuinely. So love to see how this game finishes out here. I'd be more intrigued to see how Reignfall deals with just the onslaught of crabs that are being thrown in their direction so far. Tao just got the pick, by the way, onto Demon Daz there. So I'm going to be wanting to see if they're going to try to play this one a little bit patiently, take a step back, because they are going to have to deal with just all the long range and all the zoning specials that is their Honorbound. But again, Reignfall has been able to play a lot of their fights really well and get those initial pushes to work in their favor, so they just got to be able to replicate the same magic. Still a little bit of patience here from the Reignfall here. Now here's the push, and it's just a 1 point lead. Just a 1 point lead, and that's where we stand, DRF.
See, and I was waiting for that Dreadringer. I noticed that they had the Reef Slider, and I was kind of thinking, I'm like, why are they hanging on this left side? I saw the vision, what they were hoping for. They wanted to, be able to position themselves and to jump back to the right side, which they did, to just pop the Reef Slider and clear out the grates. I think it might have just been a smidge late, but it ultimately worked out for them as they do have the lead. But very quickly, the lead switches back, and the Zuka from behind. I mean, first of all, the fact that they even got the stop, I don't know how Reignfall got that stop. They should not have. It looked like a complete breakaway opportunity for Honorbound. So 14 points now is the lead back in their favor. Again, back to a game of runs. I mean, both these teams want this one bad. And now DHBF kind of on an island on their own right now, having to navigate this, waiting for the teams to get back into action, and now they are. No specials at the ready yet, though, as this Rainmaker will go down. Honestly, might actually be for the better here of Reignfall, because I would love for them to just build up some specials to get ready for this last push to see if they could take the lead back once more.
On those that Honorbound got 2 members down on Reignfall's end, they're going to have to get all the forces back up once more. Hyman stuck between a rock and a hard place, to say the least. They pick up this Rainmaker now. I think this is just going to be the stall attempt, which it looks like it will be for Honorbound now that they pick up this Rainmaker. But they get dropped from range, so that is going to be at least well, actually, I think the timer may not favor them for overtime in terms of the seconds going through, so they're going to have to pick up this Rainmaker for sure there as they're trying to win out some of the fights. Nathan's just trying to throw the buoy bomb into a place that Reignfall can't pick it up. 2 members drop. They are going to get collapsed on. That's the wipeout. That's all it's going to be. The breakaway push indeed was the game-winning push that Honorbound needed. Honorbound wins the set 2-1, but that was a fun back and forth in round 5 of Low Ink.
It certainly was. These teams just put everything into the set. They knew the stakes, and I thought that both these teams did a great job of responding to each other each and every single time. It just felt like whenever, you saw that the objective kind of crossed the halfway mark, that you were going to see a lead change. A great job there by Honorbound to make sure that didn't happen the last time, to finally ending the game of runs that we had been seeing quite literally all set long.
By the way, shoutouts to I know Rainbow was on the losing end, but shoutouts to the Zuka play to at least give Reignfall a chance to go for another push. Ultimately, at the end, it was the L, but that gave him another chance to strike back. It's also just a well aimed Zuka there, but also yeah, just that breakaway push. Someone had to eventually push on the left side of the map here. GRF. Everyone was going for grades the entire time, and Nanaround was like, okay, we're done with that, and that was honestly a lot of fun to watch. Even for round 5, where a win puts you good in firm position for Alpha, a loss, you're not out of the woods yet, but you're gonna have to wrestle with tiebreakers. Not really the greatest place you want to be in. It feels like that had a lot in store. What felt like a day 2 set for sure. So we look at Group A, by the way, about 5 matches still left pending here, but feels like we're gonna get to see that picture of who's in that Alpha and Beta bracket now that we wrapped up round 5 on our end.
Absolutely. The stakes just become clearer and clearer as with each match that gets finished up. Who is going to be in that day 2 picture? So we'll have to see as these last couple of sets finish up. Of course, one finishes right as we say that. So looks like for now though, we'll look at Group B. Group B. Y'all need to take some notes from Group A. That's all I'm saying.
Group B.
There's only 5 games left. Flip over Group B, 5 games are done.
Yeah, Group B is definitely lagging a little behind here on the results, but yeah, they're gonna have to play some catch up here to get themselves all situated here. One thing I like to do here is kind of who is set in that undefeated side on both ends here. So far out of Group A, it is Roulette and Twister Time, by the way, is right now undefeated. And Group B, which we are looking at people funneling in with results here, Rising Beyond the Tides, which actually saw on stream earlier today. Actually, a lot of sets are still not finished yet, so we're waiting to see on that. But the unofficial 4-0 teams, Rising Beyond the Tides, The Horror, and Auto Express is kind of what we're looking at. DRF, as much as I want to keep yapping with you, it is really warm out where I'm at, so I'm going to have to get a cold bottle of water. So we're going to cut to a quick break here for y'all so I can get myself hydrated, all things considered. So when we come back, round 6 will be coming up here soon. Go get some water if it's hot where you are. We'll be right back here in just a few moments.
Welcome back, everybody, to Low Ink June 2025. I am DRF, joined by Keone, and we are back to wrap up this Low Ink. It's round 6 of the Swiss stage, and we have our final 2 teams selected for stream. TeaTime and Plurality going to be bringing us home. And Keone, it's round 6. The stakes are crystal clear now, you know, what these teams are ultimately playing for.
I mean, this is basically as alpha bracket basically designates as you can make it happen. Plurality's 4-1, TeaTime's 3-2. You get the drill here. If you win, you're one step closer to alpha, especially if you're TeaTime. Plurality, all intents and purposes, if Plurality wins, you should see them tomorrow for day 2 in the alpha bracket side. So that's kind of what both teams are dishing out here in terms of records. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully to see which team comes out on top here in this round 6 matchup. DRF.
Yes, going to be really interesting indeed. As you know, again, with the stakes being as clear as they are, and especially having actually that slight difference in the records too, the 4-1 versus the 3-2. You know, the stakes are, I don't want to say slightly different, but like in a way they are kind of different. You know, with the different records and all, because TeaTime is sitting at the top of that 3-2 group. So you know, a win here puts them in a pretty decent spot to, you know, sneak into that last alpha spot. Whereas with Plurality, you know, a win obviously should get you in at 5-1, but the loss, you know, with Plurality being at the bottom of the 4-1 group, certainly kind of gives you a bit of a head scratcher there of like, you know, does that let, you know, if they lose this, does 4-2 still get them into alpha? You know, there's a lot of questions here. So obviously there's one way to simply find out. Both teams just need to just win. You know, that's really what this comes down to. Just win.
I feel like that's just the answer to everything, is just win your set, and we can talk about the specifics later. So that's what both teams are dishing out here. It's going to be interesting to see what our 4-2 collections is going to be here, because that will pretty much be your alpha beta tiebreaker. Same with the 4-2 and 3-3s. But I digress. First map here for round 6 is Museum de Alfonsino Clan Blitz. Almost a staple, it feels like, in the Clan Blitz rotations, excuse me. So wanting to see what both teams want to dish out. I know in round 5 DRF we only saw 1 third kick compared to like the 4 or 5 we saw in round 4. So if we wanted to equal out kits here, it's probably still gonna just be 1 or 2. So well, I'll be curious to see what both teams want to dish out weapon wise anyway.
Absolutely, especially with something like Clan Blitz on Museum, where, you know, it can be a little bit tough to break through. You're going to want some of those specials that can really enable you to have those, you know, stronger pushes, you know, up through the ramp and up to the basket. You know, booyah bombs on either side tend to be good, or, you know, strikes. You know, you definitely would like to see one of those 2 types of specials. You know, even a reef slider can really open some doors as well.
As we're about to load right in, exactly. Everything's got to balance out eventually here, DRF, in terms of the third kits. It's gonna be Pi, believe it or not, on the Glamour Splatter Shot. And here's a weapon that seems to be making some pocket picks across the board here. Phobos is on the Sticker Stamper. That's the one with the Booyah Bomb, by the way. So more intrigued to see how that Stamper is gonna work out for Phobos. But I think the rest of TeaTime, which by the way, TeaTime's gonna be on the purple side, orange side is Plurality, is gonna have to take this one a step back, as they lost 3 right out of the gate here, and they're gonna have to get their defenses set up here. Zipcaster from the vanilla vanilla Stamper, excuse me, comes in. The barrier already broken to start things off here, and I'm gonna be intrigued to see if Plurality is able to continue this one. The answer is no, so it's just the 60 points remaining here, DRF.
A great opening push from Plurality. I mean, they hit the gas. Like, if this was a drag race, they would have 100% won already. With the way that they just went off so fast. Look at that! Like, the fact that what timing there by Plurality to be able to reopen the basket again. I mean, they were so fast on their second push that the basket wasn't even ready for them yet. We still got it, and they're still going.
I don't think I've ever seen a team actually perfectly time the basket dropping and get a push in. That was kind of nonsense, but also incredible at the same time. What timing there too. You go from 60 points remaining down to 45 points remaining, and you didn't even give TeaTime a chance to breathe and get themselves recollected there. So that's a great opening start. Yes, we got two hitty clams that were just spawned there. So it's gonna be interesting to see if we can get the response here from TeaTime. The Booyah Bomb, by the way, already going to be tossed out, going to be thrown into that side of the map, which almost gets the pick on the one, but great retreat. And this is going to be intriguing to see what TeaTime does for their own response, as everybody's about to try to collapse into the 1-for-1 train on both sides, make that 2 members down, and Pi's got the other. That's the wipeout, and Plurality continues to strike here, DRF.
Plurality is just doing everything right. Here comes Snack with the next power clam. Unini's done a great job of just hanging around, but of course, as I say that, they're gonna go down there. So just 3 more points added onto the board for Plurality. But the way that they've been playing this game, they're just gonna continue to just take a bunch of quick jabs. That's clearly what their win condition is just completely overwhelm the defense to just make it so hard for them to build up any sort of defensive response and to, turn defense into offense even too. Like, we just have not seen that opportunity yet out of TeaTime. So it's just Plurality been playing at just such a lightning fast pace that just has had no response yet.
It's lightning fast-paced with a purpose too. It feels like they knew exactly what they wanted to do to start overwhelming TeaTime, and it's just completely leading to the 3rd wipeout. It feels like of the game so far here. This is kind of almost a game of 2 different paces, to say the least. It feels like TeaTime is trying to get themselves recollected together, try to play this one a little methodically, if you will. But you see Plurality just non-stop movement, go deep into their base. You're not going to give them don't give a chance for TeaTime to respond back, and no matter what the results are, it seems to work out in their favor, because TeaTime, anytime they try to get themselves back up and try to get themselves recollected. Oh, by the way, here's another instant aggressive push from Plurality, and Plurality's just trying to run this one all the way home to the finish line, even if they're not quite in KO range.
Yeah, and it almost feels like that. This composition for Plurality, it does feel like it could be sort of a glass cannon, because they don't really have the specials to lock things down defensively, but you don't need to be ready defensively if you're just constantly playing offense. That's what's been their key so far. They just haven't had to play defense. So now that things have started to settle in these last 40 seconds, I mean, maybe this is just too little time for TeaTime to have a response to, but we're gonna see this defense get put to the test now.
This is the defense that is gonna be put to the test, and so far TeaTime's response has been lead themselves into a 4th wipeout of this game, and this is just complete good dominance right now from Plurality. 4th wipeout. I don't think that has to be the highest number of wipeouts I've seen in a map so far. I guess in the past year for me. So that's ultimately great for Plurality. There is going to be the OT. I mean, really, they just got to find any chance to break the basket open. But this full put everything into the attack stat for this team has just been working wonders. This might just be too little, too late. All things considered, unless Bond has a chance to make something happen. Syrup makes a jump. There is the barrier being broken on the other side of the map. What is? Oh my goodness! That was everything I could have asked for. That's gonna be game 1 to Plurality here, DRF.
What a crazy game! Just to put it simply, like that was just not at all what you would expect out of a Clamblitz Museum game, because traditionally Clamblitz Museum is, a lot slower. You're trying to, coordinate specials to break through onto the enemy plat and give your team an opportunity to be able to jump in with power clams. We just saw, pure offense. Like, there was just no slowing down. We just saw a billion quick jabs out of Plurality, and just relative dominance. mind-boggling. Just the way that Plurality took complete control of that game.
Have you heard about 7 seconds or less from the Suns
Yes,
back in the NBA days? That's kind of what it felt like, didn't it?
That is the perfect analogy, Keon.
Because here's the thing: it's like for more analogies, there's 7 seconds or less if you're an NBA fan. If you're an RPG fan, that's literally putting everything into the stack, into the attack stat, the dexterity stat. Forget your defense. We're just gonna try to play offense the entire way. It worked out beautifully too, DRF, from minute 1. 4 wipeouts, by the way, I think was the official count on that match for Plurality, and I feel like this is just gonna be a game of pace. You're gonna TeaTime. I feel like for them, they're gonna have to respond. They're gonna have to figure out how to respond to this. Just no, you're not gonna be given any chance to breathe. And in Make Home Art zones, you might have a chance, but you're gonna have to play to a really to a pace that you're probably not comfortable with. So I'm gonna be intrigued to see what TeaTime dishes up for game 2. I mean, game 1, I would not be surprised if the run back is gonna be there weapon wise for Plurality DRF.
Yeah, I mean, that composition worked very well for them. And if they want to play a similar pace here, Splat Zone's Mako, try to see if they could get a lockout situation, that I would 100% just run back that same composition because it did everything for you. Yes, like I said, so it does seem slightly glass cannon-ish.
Oh, never mind.
But it worked out just so well. But of course, we're going to see a pretty large shakeup here, which again makes sense. When you kind of pivot from Museum to Mako, it's a very, very different map, so you're gonna want to change up things, and both sides will absolutely do that.
I do not fault either team for any swaps. Not even the winning team there in Plurality. That might have been a very specific comp in Museum that could have just broke things open. And so far, that is gonna be the first cap, and then on the other side was the other. So if you take a look at the weapons, Trident / Nouveau, our beloved here, DRF making an appearance. Mint decab as well. So you got the bubble option. You also got the Zuko option available, the flexible change from Glamours to Vanilla. Other side, Dreadringer. No surprise to see a Reef Slider in a zones map here at this stage. You do get that. You do get the shot basically available as well. They also keep the bubble open, so this kind of feels as conventional as you get before the third kits were introduced. And both teams kind of a departure from game 1, going back and forth to start here out.
Oh, and the double, making a triple from the roller. Oh, and Snack is gonna respond with a couple of big picks themselves. We got 2 big playmakers here. My goodness, taking over the zone. Both players now gonna take a step back from the action, but they were delivering on some big plays there for their respective teams. And another double here from the roller. The roller, it's Bond titles. I'm hoping I pronounced that correctly. We'll go with Bond. Bond is on an absolute tear right now, and I think they just found another.
Okay, so whatever we just said about game 1 and into game 2, forget that script, DRF. We're gonna have to just chuck it into the dumpster fire there because this is a very, very, very different team that we are seeing out of TeaTime. This was a handful of big picks from Bond, and Bond is, by the way, playing this weapon to absolute perfection with that roller. Patient play overall that is just allowing TeaTime to still keep things alive. Now, yes, they did lose the zone. This is a chance for Plurality to strike, but for TeaTime, you just gotta figure out a way to keep that momentum swinging in your favor, especially with the massive composition change in terms of weapons that Plurality was just dishing out. Plurality might be able to get the lead here soon here, pending the picks that are coming up. The answer for the lead change is yes. So that is going to be the lead for Plurality, but there is still a lot of fight left. The Reef Slider is going to neutralize and get control of the zones back. Back and forth we go. Once more DRF with the 3 down, though. This could be a chance for Plurality to extend this lead.
Absolutely, and it seems like, that Plurality's starting to do a better job of being more conscious of the roller. Of course, as I say that, Bond's able to find another one here, has took over the first part of this game, and is still just doing everything to keep TeaTime within an arm's reach of this lead. Haven't been able to quite, take control yet, but if they can get just one more pick here inside this bubble, no, it's going to be the decav coming up with the big play in return. Snack finding a second pick there. hoping to see if they can get the third on Phobos, but Phobos is going to pop in this Reef Slider. They're going to get called out. This is zone back in a neutral state. Plurality going to go 3 down, make it a wipeout, and TeaTime back in control.
Now, TeaTime definitely needs to take advantage of this zone as much as they can. Plurality had a great response to trying to shut down Bond whenever they could, but this was at least enabled Bond. Yes, Bond did go down in their initial fights, but they gave the room that TeaTime needed to continue this push alone, and now they dropped the decap once more. Pai's just gonna have to fire the Zuga. It's gonna fire it right into the right sack, and Bond right then and there gets another pick, and the second pick follows suit. Will they get the third? The answer is yes. DRF, this is now Bond's show in game number 2. The lead is to change hands. Snacks drops as well. Can they get the 5, the 6 picks? It is 6 picks from Bond, and Bond's 6 picks will seal it for TeaTime, and that's TeaTime knotting up the set 1-1 in round 6.
Bond, have yourself a game, my friend! Just willed their team back into the set to tie it up. Wow, what a legacy game for themselves!
Is it Bond? Oh my god, yeah, it is. I'm going to pronounce it Bond. That was Bonnie, I believe, was the highlight of game 2. So this is now a game of two highlights, to say the least. You can tell how much I'm stuttering because I'm just flabbergasted how different it was in game 2 DRF. Game 1 was pure team play out of Plurality, and game 2 was just the Bond show, to say the least, for TeaTime. To say the least, 6 picks in the final handful of minutes, and everybody from Plurality runs right into the roller. The 6 picks, by the way, on their replay to basically seal it, and that was crazy. Yes, you get the pick on the Bond, but what cost the entire game? Oh my goodness, DRF, this has been a game of highlight reels, to say the least, in round 6.
If any teammates that were in that match can get us the KA from that one, I am morbidly curious.
Please.
Like, we need the numbers. This is also an indirect call out to Nintendo to please give us stats from the spectator point of view. Please, pretty please. You know, so hopefully after this set as well, maybe we can, once we depart the lobby, just go to the replay section. Maybe we could ask Ink Fair on the production end to get those numbers for us after game 3. But for now, Kyode, how do we even top game number 2?
I don't think we can top any game, honestly, with the way both teams were playing there. Now, if I do take a step back, complete comp change on both teams in game 2. So I think anything I was gonna say about weapons is gonna be thrown out the door in game 3 here, and especially in a staple that is known as Inkblood Art Academy Tower Control. I feel like this is a point where anything goes. Anybody can pop up at any time. I would not be shocked if Bond sticks with the roller. I wouldn't be shocked if Plurality goes back to their all-in composition. They dial it back just a bit, and they get bit by Bond's relentless amount of picks we saw in game number 2. So this is gonna be intriguing, to say the least. And of course, in a round 6 matchup where basically win, you're nearly guaranteed alpha there. I think Popkin, by the way, had to dig around for the official stats. 23 picks, by the way, and 7 deaths for Bond to give you the official stat, DRF.
That is absurd. I mean, you don't see rollers typically putting up those kinds of numbers. So I hope that they kind of just stick with it because they're really feeling it. And yes, Bond's going to go ahead and stick with that. They're feeling good about it. Obviously, Inkblot is very different from Mako, so I don't think we'll see 23 again, because the ledges just aren't quite the same. They aren't, as good, a little bit higher up for the roller to be able to get those same types of picks that we saw in that closing 30 seconds. But nonetheless, if you're feeling good about a weapon, you run with it. And it looks like that Plurality is going to kind of pivot a little bit back towards more of what we saw in game number 1 as well. So everybody just gonna play what's feeling good in this all-decisive game 3.
The game 3 to at least get you to where you stand in alpha practice is what matters more, as we do get to see this checkpoint get cleared. The second checkpoint's gonna fall through, and Plurality is basically all in comp, now added with the third kit, the 96 the Claws 96 rather, that's their cooler option being used, as they had to just burn this Booyah Bomb anywho to get the past the second checkpoint, but the second checkpoint has been cleared. Bond had to follow it up with the retaliation, but now everybody's kind of dropping across the board. Bond's trying to find the last member right then and there, and they finally snuffed them out. Already the second checkpoint cleared on Inkling Art Academy, less than a minute into the matchup here, DRF.
And what I love is that we're, obviously there's a lot of eyes on Bond right now after that game number 2, but I love that their teammates have just said, hey, we see how you're playing, we are gonna match your pace. And their teammates are doing such a great job of moving around with Bond, and they're getting a lot of these good defensive picks as a result. So kudos to the rest of TeaTime for being there and just picking up the pace to match the player that's kind of willed this game 3 situation, winner take all spot. But 2 minutes into this one, still a relative stalemate in mid, although Plurality does clear those first 2 checkpoints, so TeaTime has to find a way through to kind of break the stalemate that we're in right now.
So once again, it goes back to these same issues. What are the members you have to target in your TeaTime? The wipeout is going to give you some chance to recover back. You got multiple members you got to deal with there. I think the RBP deco is going to be a problem on top of it. Yeah, the Kraken by the got canceled earlier, so that is going to give them a chance to strike. They're going to have to likely focus on Durleon and everybody else following suit. As the Kraken by the way popped the second time, cooler option drops. Vaughn is down on top of it too. So now with the second checkpoint being cleared, there's going to be a lot of clearance right away for this composition to strike back. And now this is just this full-on aggression that we are seeing right away. The trip strikes just being used to just get anybody off the tower at this stage. They got 2 members down. Then Bond finally cleans everybody up with a double, but more points were added to the board here, DRF, and we're kind of feeling this game 1 scenario where TeaTime is trying to figure out how to respond to the all-in aggression we're seeing out of Plurality.
Yeah, and with 3 specials online now, could be a good opportunity. Sorry, technically 4 because I said that right as they popped that cooler. Bubble gonna have to come out a little bit early though. Specials all kind of being thrown at this first checkpoint. TeaTime might have just moved a little bit too quickly there to pull the trigger on those specials, and now find themselves on a 3-down stagger. And with a minute and a half to play, only clearing that first checkpoint as a result, it felt like TeaTime might have got just a little bit too antsy there. And now they're back on the defense, on their plat, trying to stop the counter push out of Plurality.
And that's kind of a tricky situation if you're at TeaTime now, because now Bond's not able to do as much as they can. You noted from earlier, this map kind of not as conducive as you can to the roller there in terms of, compared to what we saw out of Mako. So now, if you are TeaTime, how do you deal with this team? Again, I highlight probably the RPP Deco just able to help disperse everybody around, and it's forcing everybody into these skirmish type situations. TeaTime is losing members left and right. They got to get themselves recollected right now, but while all that's being said and done, while they're trying to recollect, Plurality is the one pushing the tower as much as they can. Trip strikes being thrown into this tower, all things considered. Bit of a messy scramble to say the least here, DRF, with about 35 seconds left to go on the clock. TeaTime has a couple more breaths left.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to make a big play here. Bond able to find 1, but they're gonna use this bubble to try to camp this ledge. Worked for them in Mako, but it seems like Plurality knows what to expect on this one, but there's the patient roller play, and now it looks like it's going to be Plurality diving this tower, just trying to get everybody off. It's in a great position for Plurality to just try to take this one home. The Blaster coming in, able to push the members off. It's the Trip Strikes, though, coming through to try to keep this push alive. 3 members on the tower. They find 2 on the side of Plurality. They could have an opportunity here. Bond is going to be able to get 1 more pick here. The jump coming in as well. Bond trying to stay alive. He's going to be jumping in. Not going to be able to stay alive. The jump's not in time. Plurality survives game number 3 and takes this thrilling set. Wow.
The second checkpoint being cleared before the minute mark ultimately made the difference, because that checkpoint around the bats area is what TeaTime needed to clear to even get a chance, but it came in at the last push. A lot of credit to Bond and the rest of TeaTime trying to make the scramble effort happen at the end, but Plurality able to clamp things down. And this was kind of the comp I was fully expecting in game 2, DRF, to take that one home, but they opted they opted for something a little bit more conventional, and it was the Boncho that ended up winning the game 3. Ultimately, Plurality able to take that one home. That is Plurality improving to 5-1. Most certainly going to be guaranteed an alpha spot now. So you'll be seeing them most likely tomorrow. See how they perform as we had the stats really from earlier. As we take a look at this one, as we take a look real quickly here on the stats on our on another feed here, DRF. A lot of things here, but this was definitely Plurality's team play showing up here in game 3.
And you know what really stood out in that game 3 was that Rapid Blaster, because the Rapid Blaster did such a great job of just keeping distance. They played the space game so well. They had 16 KA and 2 deaths. Like, that's really impressive, because especially with the composition they were running, that's effectively their backline, right? So, and they did such a good job of playing that role, and especially in that late game situation where we saw one last ditch effort out of TeaTime, the Blaster just hung back and said, just gonna keep aiming towards the tower, because that's the only place they really can be, and they'll just eventually keep getting chipped and eventually go down. So the Rapid did the exact job that they needed to do in this one.
Massive shoutouts by the Durleon in that game 3 being just the problem that that TeaTime had to deal with. And yeah, just that the stat line you mentioned before with the 16 KA there, this was the member I had my eyes on during that game 3. Durleon was, how do you deal with the Red Blaster? Because that Red Blaster was staying up and able to keep the space that they need for the team to just go on this all-in aggressive push. It really started to show there. So massive props to Plurality. And now for Plurality, let's see how far they go in alpha brackets tomorrow. They wrap things up with a 5-1 record, if I am not mistaken, with my group records here.
That
so
should be correct.
Yep, and then it's 3-3 for TeaTime. TeaTime kind of in a tough spot, because also there's a bunch of 4-2s that came in. They are at the top of the tiebreakers, it looks like, so that should very much be set. But man, TeaTime, pending any results, barely squeaking by beta brackets, kind of how things are going to end up there. So honestly, that round 6 matchup was a lot of fun to watch for all sorts of Splatoon.
It was. It was so much fun. And as we kind of see the final scores of the day starting to get put in here, Group A, as we see right now. Sorry, it keeps getting updated. Then I'm trying to pull up Sendu, and it's like keeps refreshing. Thanks, Sendu.
Roulette's undefeated. We can definitely tell you that there are 4 5-1 teams. So there are 4-2s that will qualify.
But I think the really interesting story is actually in Group B, because every time that Group B has kind of appeared on our screens here, the one thing that's actually stood out to me is that Bad Guys, I think, has been in a 1-1 situation in at least the last 4 rounds. If I am not mistaken. They've kind of split the set, I believe 5 out of the 6 rounds today, and gone to a decisive game 3, and I think 4 of those. So really interesting there, especially for a team that has, again, a lot of eyes on them, being Popgun's #1 team for the month. But the other one I'm going to shout out as well, because 1, I'm obligated to, and 2, it's actually really impressive what they've done today, is Reef Runners. The team, a collegiate team out of Cal Poly Pomona, able to take the 2-1 there over Rising. Rising was undefeated going into round 5. They were the only 5-0 team. Reef Runners was 4-1, and they get the win there. So now there are no 6-0 teams in this Group B. But there's quite a few 5-1, 6 to be exact.
Yeah, Group B basically had the 5-1s. So again, Reef Runners and Bad Guys also featuring some UCSD alumni, if I'm not mistaken, Goatchild especially there too. So, man, that Group B was kind of was fun to watch. And yeah, the final scores that come in, TeaTime will get the last spot of beta bracket, literally by the skin of their teeth in tiebreakers there. So they will get a chance to see how they fare in beta. But of course, the 5-1s we've noted, there are 2 collegiate side, and of course Plurality getting into 5-1. And Group A, they're the main undefeated team being Roulette. We get to see and we get to see around 3-4 2 teams there. Sea Dragon, Krill Streak making alpha tomorrow too. So I feel like this is gonna be a fun day. I feel like we're gonna set up for a fun day 2 tomorrow, DRF, and I'm really excited to see how this all plays out.
I am right there with you. I am very invested in this low ink, so you should all be too. So please come back tomorrow. It should be a thrilling day 2 as we see all of our top 16 teams fight it out. I'm excited to see where this one goes and who ultimately comes out on top. But Kyon, that concludes our time here with low ink day number 1. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up.
Yeah, we'll be out of here. I'll do the plugs, and you can take us home. By the way, I'm Kyon2570. By the way, after this broadcast, I'm gonna go downstairs and cool off after this heat wave finally dies down. So you guys can follow me on Blue Sky and on Twitch, of course. So be on the lookout for that. By the way, one quick thing there. Hoping he gets the queue. Watch Super Jump next weekend as well. I'll be doing Block 1 as well, June 28th to 29th, guaranteed 2-day event as well. So if you participate, you'll be guaranteed something in day 2. So definitely sign up for next week IPL's biggest major. I feel like there, and also sign up on start.gg/SJ. Again, June 28th and 29th is when Super Jump will happen. You'll hear me on the mic for day 1 next Saturday. DRF, you can take us home.
Awesome. Well, looking forward to hearing you on the mic next weekend, Kyon. I am DRF. You can find me on Blue Sky, DRF-Splatoon. But per usual, you can find me over at the CCA covering all things collegiate Splatoon. Thank you all so much for sticking with us through day 1. We will see you tomorrow for the epic conclusion of day 2 of Low Ink.